I did call her a few names. I didn't call her no prostitute. I used other words.
I wouldn't smile if I were you.
This is Judge Judy. Chanel Barnes is suing her neighbor, Brittany Ponce, and her father, Richard, for a car insurance deductible, rental car charges, and harassment.
Now, this is case number 113 on the calendar in the matter of Barnes versus Ponce. Parties have been sworn in. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Thank you, Bird. Miss Barnes, you and this young lady live in a fourplex together. The co-defendant is her father. He does not live there. Is that correct, sir?
No.
With regard to her father, it is your allegation that he damaged your car while it was on the premises of the fourplex. Your car was repaired, and you want the $500 deductible that you had to pay. The defendant, Mr. Ponce, says that while he acknowledges he hit your car because you were parked in a spot you shouldn't have been in. And if you hadn't been parked in that spot, he wouldn't have hit you. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
You also have an allegation that both parties have engaged in a course of conduct that justifies a cause of action for harassment. Both Ms. Tennant have a counterclaim for harassment. How long have you been living in this fourplex?
I've been living there over a year now. April of 2019 is when I initially moved in.
And how long have you been living there, Ms. Ponce?
I've been there since March 8th of 2018.
So you've been living there longer?
Yes.
And you live there by yourself?
I live there with my 4 children.
At some point, I gather, things were relatively quiet until the plaintiff and your boyfriend got into some sort of a confrontation.
Yeah, about
Over
the parking.
parking.
Yes.
When was that?
This was, I believe, April 7th.
So before this, you and Miss Barnes didn't have any issues?
No, I've never spoke to her, only
Is that
regarding
right?
her
Yes,
dog.
that's correct.
So you had no issues before the boyfriend had an
Yes.
issue? Is he still the boyfriend?
Yes, he is.
Tell me very briefly what happened on the 7th of April with regard to the parking space and Miss Ponce's boyfriend.
Yes, so April 8th was the initial day, which I do have photos of the vehicle blocking my patio. I was coming home from work around 5:40. I normally make it home. And the black Cadillac, which is Brittany's baby's father, was in my parking spot. Where I park is the patio, and it's also access to my garage. So I couldn't access my garage to park in or the front of my patio.
May I see it?
So this is when I came home from work.
So the picture of this car is Miss Ponce's boyfriend's car.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you point in that picture where your garage is or your parking space?
Well, I'm going to show this other photo, which is better. My place is here. The garage is actually right across from it.
So the defendant's boyfriend's car was blocking you from either parking right behind your house or making the turn into the garage.
Yes, that's correct.
So what did you do?
So I went to knock on the door, and of course he came right outside. I said, can you move your vehicle because I'm trying to go ahead and park in my garage, or at least where I park in front of my patio. He says, I can move my vehicle for you to park in your garage, but I'm going to park my car back right there, meaning if I need to come back out, I have to knock on the door for you to move your vehicle again. Of course, he's a very tall gentleman, and I'm a female. So I did call the police to go ahead and try to get him to move the vehicle, which they did. And I was able to park there, and everything was squashed that day.
No.
But no police report was made that day.
Okay. Now, Miss Ponce.
Yes.
Stop shaking your head.
Oh, okay.
So your boyfriend was parked right behind her patio.
Yes, right by the side of her patio.
That is her patio.
Yes.
Did you tell him that he could park there?
No, oh, sorry.
So you're the tenant.
Yes, I told him to move the car, but he was like, it's not a parking spot for her. I could park there. So I said, you know what, you deal with it then because it's your car. So he decided to deal with it himself. But I was outside as a standby witnessing everything.
Okay. Miss Ponce, you know that he was just being a jerk.
I mean, Your Honor, I have the papers saying that she can't
look at
park
me.
there.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Women who understand that sometimes people get jerky. And I just want you to realize what happened. You
Yes.
and your 4 children
Yes.
have lived in this complex peacefully with a neighbor
Yes.
since you moved in.
Yes.
Jerk comes along, parks where you never parked.
I didn't have a car
And
at
you're
that
the
time.
tenant.
I didn't have a car at that time.
If you did, you wouldn't have parked there, right?
Just to avoid the conflict with her,
If you
yes.
did, well, because it's not the right thing to do. It means that if she has to get into the garage, she has to come knock at your door.
Oh, yes.
And say, can you move your car, or ask the boyfriend to move his car? So clearly, the boyfriend was acting like a jerk.
He could have been, yes, Your Honor. But what gives her
Yeah,
the
he
right
was.
to park right there, and other cars are trying to get in and out of the garage, too? Why is that okay?
Just a second.
Okay.
It looks to me as if she parks by that is her.
Yes.
The next house over can swing into the garage. If there is apartment beyond that, they can swing into the garage. She's the only one that can't swing into her garage if somebody parks in front of her patio. Is that right?
That is right. But if she's parked right there, the other tenants can't get to their garages. They have to squeeze past her because there's trash cans right there, Your Honor, and then her car is right there. So we have to squeeze in between her because she doesn't want to park into her garage where there's nothing in there.
Have you ever had that problem?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I mean, I use my garage not for my car.
So you've never had that problem?
Not getting into my garage because I don't
The answer is you've never had that problem. No. The only one who had that problem is the boyfriend.
Yes.
Okay. Now we get to the incident with your car, Miss Barnes, because that had to do not with the boyfriend.
Yes.
That had to do with Mr. Ponce. Now, Mr. Ponce, I want you to show me where you were parked and where she was parked when you hit her car, because you acknowledge that you hit her car.
Yes.
I know what pictures I took. Okay, Your Honor. This is a picture where the van was parked, where she stated she could not enter her garage, which is A is her garage, my daughter's garage is B. That's where I was working on the vehicle.
Okay. Just a second. You were working. You told me before she didn't have a car.
She had just purchased it.
You're working on her car, parked not near the house, but near the garage.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
The garage structure is a separate...
I understand exactly what it is, sir. The garage structure is on the other side of this alleyway.
Yes.
On one side are the apartments, and there's a little space there so that you can swing into your garage. If you park your car there, you can't do both. You can't park in the garage and swing in. But you're in front of your daughter's garage space, and it looks like the next space, the C space, you're also in front of that spot. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who owns the C space?
The tenants upstairs.
Well, what were you doing working on your daughter's car, blocking their garage?
The tenants upstairs, ma'am, have a vehicle that's not running in their garage, so they don't use their garage as access for parking. I'm aware of that.
Okay, well, you're still blocking somebody else's garage.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just stating a fact.
Yes.
It parked in front of B and C doing work on the car. Now, I want to see on April 7th or 8th,
yes,
if you have a photograph where her car was that your car.
Yes, ma'am, on her patio side.
Okay, I got it. That's exactly what I thought it was.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your car is the white car.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And you were in the open garage.
Yes, ma'am.
You were working on your daughter's car, and you were half in front of the B garage, your daughter's garage, and the C garage.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you were backing out, Mr. Ponce.
Yes, ma'am.
You were backing out, and you hit her car.
Yes.
Okay. When you started working on your daughter's car, was Miss Barnes's car there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When did you see her come in?
She pulled up approximately, I'm going to say, a good half hour after our service, because we had to go to the auto parts store and get a part for the car.
So you knew her car was there.
Yes.
And you backed out and backed into the side of her car, and you went to her door, according to you, and told her you backed into her car.
No, I stayed.
Whatever it is, whether
yes,
it was an accident, you saw her car pull in. So if she had a $500 deductible, you have proof of your deductible?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'd like to see a picture of the damage and proof of your deductible. Then you're responsible for her $500 deductible.
So here's the pictures of the damages.
Got it.
And it was all damage to my side mirror and to the driver door.
And can I...
These are the bills from the auto body shop.
Okay, just go
And
down.
I'm sorry, this is the one that's actually showing the $500 deductible that I had to pay towards my car being fixed.
Okay, now let's deal with the harassment. So far we know that there was absolutely no trouble between the two of you. You lived peacefully. The defendant with her 4 children and sometimes with the boyfriend, because he's the father of your youngest child.
Yes.
But there was no trouble with you until the jerk parked where he shouldn't have. I'd like you to tell me what you allege either of the defendants do to harass you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There's times when I'm on the patio with my dog and people's going in her garage. They're just like mean mugging me. I don't know if they're going to end up going in my place.
I wouldn't smile if I were you, because this thing all got started, Miss Ponce,
Yes.
because of your jerk.
Chanel Barnes says her neighbor's father, Richard Ponce, backed into her car. She is suing Richard and his daughter Brittany for her insurance deductible, rental car fees, and harassment.
I'd like you to tell me what you allege either of the defendants do to harass you.
So the harassment actually took place October 4th. This is the report that I did make towards it. It happened on the weekend. I was coming back from grocery shopping at a local store. Richard Ponce and the other sister that drives a black vehicle was parked right in front of also the patio, again, blocking where I can go into my driveway. So I began to proceed with unloading my vehicle. In the midst of unloading, I noticed the vehicle started to kind of back up, the black vehicle with the other daughter of Richard Ponce. Of course, I have a little traumatized from them hitting my vehicle, so I went to go ahead and let me move my car so they can get out the way before I unload it. In the midst of me unloading it, I see a lot of head movement, and I don't know her name, Your Honor, but his other daughter started calling me names. They both started to pull their cameras out, started recording me, telling me I don't supposed to be parked there, and I have a dog. They were just saying all type of stuff. He also called me a prostitute, and which I do have that on video.
So they were recording you.
Yes.
Parking in the driveway, and you were recording them, and you were exchanging words that were nasty.
Well,
I don't care about his other daughter, who's not here, who's not a defendant. This woman was not in the car.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to concentrate only on harassment by Mr. Ponce, if that's the incident that you're referring to.
Yes, it is.
Did you ultimately move your car?
Yes, after they left, I was able to pull into my garage. That's correct.
Okay, so they ultimately left.
Yes.
With just some name calling and video.
Yes.
By each of you.
Correct.
Okay, it doesn't rise to the level of harassment. Now, is that the only incident that you have to tell me where you felt as if you were harassed by either of the defendants?
Well, also just to go ahead and add also, Brittany have a home where a lot of people traffic, high volume of traffic coming in and out her home and garage. I live alone. My patio is there. There's times when I'm on the patio with my dog and people's going to her garage, mean mugging me. And these are men, and I live alone, Your Honor. I'm a female. I felt intimidated because they're just mean mugging me. I don't know if they're going to end up going in my place or if they're going to do something to me. It's times when I would have been afraid to go home because of it.
Okay, well, I have to tell you that while I'm sympathetic, it's not actionable. Her guests, if they come in and are behaving in a rude fashion to you, the form of harassment, what you've told me, and they're not defendants. I wouldn't smile if I were you, because this thing all got started, Miss Ponce.
Yes.
This whole thing got started because of your jerk. You do understand that.
I suppose,
All
Your
got
Honor.
started because of your jerk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I did call her a few names. I didn't call her no prostitute. I used other words. That's when she got really defensive and, oh, why you gotta get all hostile? Why you gotta do this? She proceeded to go in her vehicle and pull out a taser on me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Chanel Barnes says neighbor Brittany Ponce and her father Richard owe for damages to her car and harassment.
You know, you were two reasonable women who lived in a place quietly
Yes.
until your jerk parked where he shouldn't have.
Right.
And when she asked him to move his car, he said, I'll move it so you can get in, but I'm pulling right back there, which means if she wants to get out, she's got to, again, come and knock at the door for him to move the car. He was being a jerk.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Great. All right. So that's what we have in harassment. You've got $500 from the entitled to. Now, you have a cross-claim for harassment.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to get to it? Go.
I was threatened with the taser the day that she accused me of harassing her. The day that happened, I was servicing my grandchildren's bicycles in the garage. My daughter entered the driveway, didn't get her to exit her vehicle. The plaintiff pulls up right behind my daughter, mind you, videotaping on her phone. She asked my daughter, "What are you doing?" My daughter told her, "I'm trying to leave. Can you move your car?" She stated, "Excuse me." My daughter did use profanity and addressed her. "I am trying to move my car. Can you move your car?" and called her the word. That's when she got really defensive and, "Oh, why you got to get all hostile? Why you got to do this?" I told my daughter, she's instigating things. Just back the car up. She did move her car and parked it by her patio where she's not supposed to be parked. And my daughter was backing out. She proceeded to go in her vehicle and pull out a taser on me and threatened me with her taser. And I told her, "I am not scared of your taser, ma'am." I was calling her ma'am. I did call her a few names. I didn't call her no prostitute. I used other words. And, yeah, I was hostile because she called me a drug addict and other things prior to this, but she was instigating this scene. But
Don't tell me what anybody said.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Were you helpful to your daughter before the plaintiff moved in?
Yes.
Right. Then the plaintiff moved in.
Yes.
And there were no incidents.
No incidents, ma'am. Not with me.
There were no incidents. No incidents with you. No incidents with your daughter.
No, ma'am.
None.
Yes.
Do you know, Mr. Ponce, when all the incidents started, that all this anger flared up?
No, I wasn't aware of all
Because this anger.
Yes.
All this anger flared up because of the jerk.
Right. I understand that she didn't have to take that out on me. I went to her door and...
That's true. Well, that's true. But then we began to take, the parents who were supposed to be cool, you begin to take sides. And now your daughter is aggravated because the boyfriend is aggravated. Can't park there. She's not going to argue with him. She said to him, "You shouldn't park there, but I'm not dealing with it."
Right.
She said, "Not the right thing to do. Don't do it." He got confrontational anyway.
Yes.
So is it still an ongoing problem?
No, it's not. Not with me, Your Honor.
Okay, great. What about with you?
I avoid contact
Is it
with
an
all
ongoing-
matters, Your Honor. I put my head down. I walk in the house. I try not to do any contact with them or people in their home.
Great. And what about you?
Other besides the CPS coming to my house, no.
So Child Protective Services came to your house?
Yes, they did.
And you believe it was as a result of
Oh,
that?
yes.
I assume they came to the house?
Yes.
And I assume that they found nothing?
Yep.
And they left you alone?
Yes, they
Great.
did, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Judgment for the plaintiff of the amount of $500. The counterclaim for harassment is dismissed. We're finished here. Thank you very much.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy. A mother and son with control issues.
I just picked up the frying pan in case she attacked me.
You're a teenager with whom she had a fight and who picked up a frying pan.
Judge Judy.
Honestly, they're unemployed people, and they just sit there and watch me come and go. So honestly, I'm thinking it's jealousy.
Because she thinks she's above the law, and she knew the cop that she called anyways. Just like CPS.
I have any family members that work in the law enforcement or anything.
She threatened me with the taser. She threatened me that if she brings somebody else, they're going to come with more than just a taser.
That's just all false lies.
I'm not going to pay no $3,000 for a scratch on the door.
That's the next step. A restraining order is my next step towards Richard.
We were arguing about the air conditioner.
A mother and son with control issues.
She was turning on the heat, and I turned on the air.
One of many fights. Police were called.
Then tempers boiled over.
She was like coming after me and getting in my face. I just picked up the frying pan for protection in case she attacked me.
You're not a tenant. You're a teenager with whom she had a fight and who picked up a frying pan.
This is Judge Judy. 19-year-old Justin Hodge is suing his mother, Christine Connell, for a broken phone, the return of property, moving costs, and an illegal eviction after they had a physical altercation.
Judge, this is case number 93 on the calendar in the matter of Hodge versus Connell. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Hodge,
Yes.
what's your date of birth?
September 13th, 2001.
The defendant is your mother.
Yes.
According to your you've been living full-time with your mother. Prior to that, you were living with an aunt.
Yeah, it's like...
Judge, pay attention to my question.
Yes, Honor.
Had you been living with your aunt since birth until you were 13, or on and off with your aunt until you were 13?
Basically, it's just like... since 3 months years old.
Was your son living with your sister
Yes.
until he was 13?
Yes.
How come at 13, there must have been some reason for it, for which I don't have to get into it right now, but how come at age 13 you moved in with your mother?
It's because my aunt was moving to Louisiana, and she gave me a choice if I want to move to go to Louisiana or with my mom in Milwaukee, Oregon. And I decided to go with my mom.
Did you see your mother often when you were living with your aunt?
Yeah, it's like every weekend I had like overnight stays with her.
Was this, Miss Connell, a court-ordered arrangement that your son lived with your sister?
Yeah, she filed guardianship of him.
Is he your only child?
Yes.
So she took custody of your son when he was an infant?
Yeah.
With your consent, and you saw him on weekend?
Yeah, he was like 4
Go ahead.
months.
Okay. And since you were 13, you've been living with your mother?
Yes, Honor.
Your choice.
Yeah.
It is your claim, sir, that when you were 19, and that was September of this year,
Yes.
you and your mother,
Yes, Honor.
and police were called.
Yes.
It was suggested that you leave by the police,
Yeah.
and you left.
Yeah.
So you're suing your mother because you allege several things. That during the fight,
Yes, Honor.
she broke your phone,
Yeah.
and you're suing her for unlawful eviction.
Yes, Honor.
And in addition to unlawful eviction, your moving costs
Yes, Honor.
and other property. The main piece of property is a computer or some sort of a tablet.
Yes, Honor.
Your mother says that you took all your clothes, the phone you broke yourself, the computer is hers because she bought it, and I'm telling you now, a 19-year-old cannot be evicted from their mother's house. You can get thrown out if you have a fight.
Yes.
And the police can be called. But you're not a tenant.
Yes, Honor.
Because in September, you had no job. I assume you weren't paying rent.
No, that's not true.
You were paying rent in September.
Yeah, it's only my...
From what job?
Six Flags.
I thought you lost your job.
I was working there before, Honor, but then they...
I'm talking about in September.
Basically, I was working there until October, then I lost it then.
Well, according to your complaint, you lost your job in March.
I got rehired because they were short of staff. They needed me back.
When?
Like September.
Well, so between March and September, you weren't paying any rent.
No, that's true, Honor.
Okay, so if you were not paying any rent and you're living with your mother,
Yes.
then you're not a tenant.
Yes, Honor.
You're a teenager
Yes.
with whom she had a fight
Yes, Honor.
and who picked up a frying pan to defend himself.
Yes,
right?
Honor. Yes, Honor.
All right. Now, you had a fight with your mother and your phone was broken.
Yes.
Let's go back to who bought the phone. Who bought the phone?
My mom did.
When did she buy the phone?
I think it was July 5th.
That sounds very nice of her.
Yes.
Now, you want to tell me how it came about that she broke your phone in September? Tell me.
Basically, we were just arguing, then I was
Not
pretending...
basically. I don't want to hear basically.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened.
I was just, like, texting my aunt, texting my aunt to tell her I might be going down to stay with her, and she says, that's fine. Then she took it out of my hand and, like, threw it against the wall. It's not cracked, but it won't plug in. It will, like, go on and off without charging.
Where's your phone now?
It's in my pocket, Honor.
Can I see it?
Yes, Honor. There it is.
When's the last time you made a phone call with it?
Since September, but I've been using my aunt's and my friend's phone.
No. I'm asking you. Why would you...
Yes, and see if they can help me fix it.
Good.
Yes.
Tell me about this frying pan that you picked up
Basically...
when you and your
okay.
mother were having a fight. Not basically.
Okay. I was just, like, doing it for protection because she was, like, coming after me and getting in my face.
What was she saying to you?
She said to turn off... because we were arguing about the air conditioner, and she was turning on the heat, and I turned on the air because it goes around the house, apartment.
So you were arguing about the air conditioner?
Yeah, then
in September?
Yeah. Yes, Honor.
And then?
she was coming after me, turning off the air. Then I just picked up the frying pan for protection in case she attacked me.
And what did you do with the frying pan?
Just like threw it on the ground on the hardwood floor.
Did you hit the floor with it?
Yes.
How many times did you hit the floor with it?
Probably just like a couple times, probably like 4 times.
Couple is 2.
Yeah, 2 to
That's
4.
more than a couple.
Okay. Yes, Honor.
Did you cause any damage to the floor?
No.
Is that when your mother called the police?
No, the neighbors called the police, Honor.
Ah. Does anybody have a police report, or nobody has any evidence?
I have a couple evidence.
Do you have a police report?
No, the police never did the report. I already tried to call the Concord police, and before, they never had a police report typed.
Okay. I'd like to first hear about the computer. What kind of a computer is it?
It was just basically like an extra computer screen, so I could just like...
Not a basically.
Okay.
What was it?
It was like a extra screen I can hook my laptop to, and I can watch movies on it. And it's when I turned it on, when I get to my aunt's house, it was like cracked.
So your mother gave it to you?
Basically, not the computer. It was
Not basically.
Okay. Basically.
Not basically.
Sorry.
When you left, not.
Okay.
Hey. When you left, when the police told you to move,
Yes.
you took your clothes and you took your laptop.
I never took my laptop, but my laptop was in my...
How did you...
Basically, my laptop was
In
in
your
my...
what?
In my filing cabinet in my old room, and I had my screen took my computer to, my aunt's computer.
Where is your laptop now?
My mom has it, she said, Honor.
Okay. And when did you get it?
I never got it yet, Honor.
No, when did you get it? When did you purchase it?
August, sometime in August at Target.
Did you purchase it or did your mother?
Basically, okay. I did it, Honor. I got it with my cash my friend gave me.
What friend gave you cash for a computer?
My old friend from my old work I used to work at.
How much did this old friend whose name you're going to tell me give you? Who?
Yes, and it was at Target in Walnut Creek.
What's the name of the friend who gave you $300 for a computer?
Devin.
Devin what?
Devin was his name, Honor.
He's still alive, I assume.
Yes.
Do you still see him?
Yes, sometimes, but we usually get in arguments about stuff, but we're just taking a quick break talking to each other.
Since when?
Since the fight me and my mom had in September.
What did Devin have to do with the fight you and your mother had?
We were just like, he wasn't helping me out. He only picked me up, only from my old house apartment.
Why didn't you take the laptop with you?
I was in the cops.
You took your clothes?
Yeah, the cops was rushing me out of the house.
You took your clothes?
Yes.
Most young people who were 19 would take their phone, their laptop, and throw in a couple of shirts.
Yes.
Now, so he picked you up from your mother's house after the fight.
Yes,
Devin.
Honor.
When did you stop talking to him? He's the one who gave you the $300 for the computer.
Yeah, probably like October, end of September, we were stopped talking for a little bit.
Ms. Connell, tell me about this laptop.
I'm the one that paid for it, and I don't owe him anything, but I do have it with me.
No, don't. You have the laptop with you?
Yeah.
Good. Tell me when you purchased it.
I purchased it in September.
Do you have your...
I have an HP.
And what kind did you purchase for your son?
I purchased the HP.
Where did you purchase it?
In Walmart.
Do you remember how much it was?
It was like $200.
So you have your own?
Yes.
And when you purchased it at Walmart, you gave it to your son?
Yes.
As a gift?
Yeah.
Then you have to give it back to him?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you have it with you.
Yep.
And Bird will make arrangements for the transfer
Okay.
of his laptop back to him.
Okay.
Got it?
That's fine.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your mother turns off the air conditioner in a house that she's paying for. That's a prerogative. You don't throw a fit and pick up a frying pan. If you're a teenager living at home, your mother owns the air that you breathe.
And later today,
We're going to go further if I'm not satisfied with the answer. Do you understand that I've been doing this here for 17 years? How old are you?
22.
That means when I started to be a star, you were still pooping in your pants.
Justin Hodge claims his mother, Christine Connell, broke his phone, stole his laptop, and illegally evicted him.
You're going to get your laptop back, young man. You understand?
Yes.
You don't get moving costs. You don't get costs for wrongful eviction. You probably get to say, I'm sorry for all this stuff to your mother, because it sounds to me, based upon just what you told me, that she was trying to be nice to you.
Yes, Honor.
Yeah. Your mother turns off the air conditioner in a house that she's paying for. That's her prerogative.
Yes,
and
Honor.
if you're 19 and you want to go live with your aunt, that's terrific. Go live with somebody else. But you don't throw a fit and pick up a frying pan. If you're a teenager living at home, your mother owns the air that you breathe. We're going to make an order for the exchange of the laptop. Thank you very much. This case is over.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
My friend got it for me, not her.
He was suing me for nothing.
I don't know what's going to happen.
That we can get along and everything can be good.
Sorry, Mom.
Apology was accepted.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cooper versus Black, step forward.
Tracy Cooper is suing 22-year-old Jeff Black for stealing her exercise machine.
Mr. Black, where is Miss Cooper's exercise machine? Before you answer the question, don't conjure up, don't machinate, don't ruminate. Just think about what I'm saying to you. Don't look there. Don't look there. Because whatever answer you give me, we're going to go further if I'm not satisfied with the answer. Do you understand me?
I do.
And do you understand that I've been doing this here for 17 years?
I do.
How old are you?
22.
22. That means when I started to be a star, you were still pooping in your pants. Do you understand me? Now, I'm asking you where her exercise machine is today. Look here. Answer the question.
Not in my possession.
That's not what I asked you. I said, where is it today? Don't look there. Where is the exercise machine today? Don't go.
I
When
don't know.
I'm finished making you look ridiculous, I'm going to start working on her. So just answer the question, where is her exercise machine today? Let's start with what state is it in? Look at me.
Oregon?
Are you a fool? Why are you asking me with a question mark at the end of that? Is it in Oregon? Who are you?
I'm his fiance.
You're his fiance. Stand up. Your name?
Sarah.
Where's the exercise machine?
He sold it
Where? Where?
to his friend.
His friend who?
I don't know.
First name?
Adam.
When? Don't look over there.
About a month ago.
Were you present at the sale?
Yes.
Where did it take place?
Our house.
How many times have you met Adam?
About 5.
When was the last time you saw Adam?
At the sale.
How did he get the exercise machine out of your house?
He had himself and a mover that works for him come and pick it up.
See how easy that was, idiot?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me. He's a hustler and a bum. You want to hitch your wagon to that star? You go right ahead and do it. I'm telling you, you look like a lovely young lady. Make any big mistakes. Big mistakes last you for a long time.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tracy Cooper is accusing Jeff Black of stealing her exercise machine. Jeff claims Tracy abandoned it.
You see how easy that was? When did you notify him that you wanted your exercise machine back?
April 15th, 2013.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a horse trainer.
What does he do?
He's a mover.
He's a bum. He's a bum. Listen to me. He's a hustler and a bum. I'm going to tell you why. Because I read his answer. And his answer said, she agreed to sell me the exercise machine for $500. That's if I believe him. She told him she wanted it back April 15th. He sold it, according to you, and you're not a liar, are you?
No.
A month ago, to somebody who we knew, to somebody who you knew. He couldn't give me those answers because he was trying to fool me. He was trying to figure out what to say so that I wouldn't find me. If you're an honest girl, he's not. He's dishonest. Now I want Adam's last name. I want Adam's last name.
I don't know his last name.
You're not as cocky as you were when you first came in, right?
Wasn't cocky at all.
Sure you were. All right, this is what this case is about. You made some sort of an arrangement with Mr. Black to move you from one place to another. By the way, you have a company?
I do.
What's the name of your company?
This case,
Didn't you?
this was not involving my company because I did not receive any type of money for this. I did this by myself to help her out because she was going through a tough situation. She was.
Listen, you want to hitch your wagon to that star, you go right ahead and do it. I've been around the track a few times myself, and I'm telling you, what I see, what I hear, you look like a lovely young lady. Make any big mistakes. Big mistakes last you for a long time. When did you purchase the exercise machine?
I have the original receipt, August 16th, 2009.
Now, stand up. We're going to ask you another question because I can't get a straight answer from him. When Adam purchased the exercise machine, when you were present for the transaction, how much did he sell the exercise machine for? Don't say you don't know.
$500.
Probably about what it's worth from 2009. Did you send her the $500?
Wasn't able to get a hold of her.
So the answer is
No.
no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
Anything else you want to tell me?
Judge Judy, I was hoping just to get the machine back.
Can't get the machine back.
Okay.
He sold it to somebody for $500.
Okay.
The person who he sold it to for $500 did not purchase a $5,000 piece of equipment for $500. He purchased an old exercise machine that some people paid to get rid of, for somebody to take out of their house. But he paid $500 for it, which is probably a reasonable deal for that person. You clearly didn't want it at some point because you were willing to sell it to him. He says for $500. His problem is he's a scam artist. At some point, he was supposed to move you back. He said you can keep the exercise machine. I have no use for it anymore, as long as you move me from one place to another. When it came to move from that one place to another, according to you, he was nowhere to be found. So now he had your exercise machine that you told him he could have, and he wasn't moving you. So you spoke, you said, listen, you want to buy it? He says, I'll give you $500 for it. According to him, you said, fine. He sells it later for $500 and doesn't give you your money. That's what the case is about. It's very easy.
Okay.
You have anything else you don't want to say? Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy. Judge Judy. A customer looking for a friend.
60 pages of text messages, a lot of emojis, and a lot of just personal things being shared with me.
Next, Judge Judy.
I did this out of the kindness of my heart. I wasn't receiving any money for this.
The truth is that I wanted the machine back.
It was sitting in my possession for several months, and it came down to she wanted to sell it.
It is a $2,200 piece of equipment.
I sold it, and then she wanted the exercise machine back, and after I sold it, I can't give it back to you.
It's unfortunate that it did have to get this far.
I don't think that he's dishonest.
That's not true. He was operating under his company name.
I think that he was a little bit nervous in there.
When he did move me 2 times.
And that's maybe why he wasn't answering the questions so quickly.
Get everything in writing.
I think she was a little bit harsh. Yeah.
Happy to be done with it, and thank you again, Judge Judy.
Suspicions at the groomer.
I thought it was unusual that she wanted to rush me out with both dogs at the same time.
Then,
What happened when you got home?
There was blood,
a dog owner's shot.
tail missing. It was like sliced. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Ultimately, Marley had to have most of his tail amputated.
This is Judge Judy. Brenda Cornejo is suing dog groomer Diane Layton for vet bills and damages resulting from injuries to her dog, Marley.
Judge, this is case number 84 on the calendar in the matter of Cornejo versus Layton. Parties have been sworn in. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Thanks, Bird.
Uh-huh.
Miss Cornejo, this lovely animal is your dog. How old is the dog?
Marley is almost 7.
Have you had him?
I've had him. I adopted him.
You adopted him when?
It was June 16.
So you've had him about 4 years, a little over 4 years. Do you have any other dogs?
I do. I have a beautiful German Shepherd. She's a female. Her name is Penny. And they get along really well.
The defendant is a dog groomer, and from your papers, it appears as if you've used her in the past. Have you used her for both dogs in the past, or just this dog's name is Marley?
This is Marley. I've used her for both of my dogs because I would take them together.
Since at least 2016?
Correct.
How often do you take Marley to be groomed?
He gets groomed professionally about every, I would say, 2 to 3 he gets, but I bathe my dogs in between the groomings.
And other than this incident, which brings you to court today, you've been satisfied with her work?
Yes.
Now, according to your complaint, there did come a time, this is the last time that you took Marley to the defendant, that there was an issue.
Yes.
On what date was the last time that you took him for grooming by the defendant?
Yeah, so he was last groomed by Diane Layton on July 21st, 2020.
Prior to July 21st of 2020, had you noticed any injury to the dog's tail?
Absolutely
His
not.
tail, nothing.
Absolutely not.
What time, if you recall, did you take Marley into Miss Layton to be groomed?
I dropped him off. It was, I would say, around 10:30, 11. And then I picked him up a little after 4:30. And so it was a longer than usual time for them to be groomed.
Does the defendant call you to tell you it's time to come and pick up the dogs?
Yes, she has to.
And in the prior 4 years that you've been taking Marley to her for grooming, approximately how long does that grooming session take?
Approximately, let's say, like 2 hours.
So this was considerably longer.
Yes, it was unusually longer.
Will you tell me what happened?
I got the call that the dogs were ready, and I went up to the counter, and she looked nervous and asked me to take both of my dogs at the same time. And I normally take one at a time because I can't manage, the Shepherd and Marley. So I said, no, I can only take one at a time. I thought it was unusual that she wanted to rush me out with both dogs at the same time, but I said, no, I can only take one at a time. So I grabbed Marley first, and then I went from point A to point B, so the door of the grooming to my car, which was parked right in front of the shop. Right before I put him in the car, I did notice like a fresh drop of blood on the side of his body, but I looked and there was no cut, there was nothing there, so I thought it was unusual, but then I put him in the car and went back for my other dog, and then because of the way the parking situation is located in front of her shop, there's cars waiting for you. There's only like 2 parking spaces, and so they're waiting for you to move. So you
left?
Yeah, so it was very quick.
Left. What happened when you got home?
I picked them up by myself. Usually my son accompanies me, but as soon as I got home, he was out there waiting to help me bring the dogs down, and I parked, and he took both dogs through the side of the house to the backyard, and he was playing with them outside.
Were you watching them?
I was watching him.
You were watching?
Uh-huh.
Okay, continue.
So he was under the porch playing with the dogs, and it was momentarily, and then he screamed, and he yelled out, "Mom!" The dog's bleeding, and, he was, like scared. So I went out there, and I looked at Marley, and I couldn't believe what I saw. It was a little gruesome. There was a piece of tail, like, missing. It was, like, sliced. There was blood that apparently had restarted bleeding. There was, like, bone and flesh. I couldn't believe it. I was in a bit of a shock, like, seeing my dog in this condition.
I want to go back for a moment. When you took Marley from the defendant's shop, you said you saw a drop of blood. Had you ever seen that before?
No. Because I didn't see any visible cuts on that side, I didn't know where it was coming from. Once I went outside to the porch and I assessed the dog and I saw him wagging his tail, and because the bleeding had restarted, he was, wagging the tail and flipping it to the side of his body. So, of course, the blood was coming from the tail and landing on the side of his body.
And that's why we're here, because the dog was, in fact, injured. We'll get to where and how that happened. You had substantial vet bills and ultimately amputated.
Correct.
That's why you're here.
Correct.
The defendant has a whole other menu of excuses as to why this didn't happen as a result of her, but happened as a result of probably your neglect. So after you saw what happened, I assume you took the dog directly to your local vet, to the vet that you use.
Correct. There was no delay. So I called the vet, and unfortunately, it was almost closing time.
What did you do?
So I frantically started searching for another vet because I called my vet, and they said, we don't have any appointments.
So you found an emergency vet?
Yes.
I would just like to see the vet's report and bill. First, the report, if you would.
So they gave me this. This is what they gave me.
Okay. Did they stitch or bandage?
They did a clip and clean, and they did IV antibiotics. They placed a bandage and e-collar. They gave them
Did she go
antibiotics.
back? I can read. Did you take the dog back to another vet subsequently?
So this was the original vet visit, and we kept in touch.
Listen to me. The answer is either yes or no. Did you take the dog back to another vet or the same vet?
I took him back to the same vet until the 28th.
Okay. I would like to see the other bill.
So
this one was
so that's
$400.
the first one. And then there was a recheck here for pain medication. And the rechecks aren't billed, so it's just rechecks. They gave me...
I understand. I'm reading it. Don't tell me what they said.
Okay.
And that was on what date, the 28th?
Yes.
Did you take the dog back to this vet or to your regular vet the next time?
I took him back to my regular vet as a second opinion.
On what date?
On
what date?
29th, and I have a note.
May I see it, please?
Yes. So they actually gave me an exam.
Shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Sorry.
When was the next time? Just give me the date.
So he was...
Just give me the date. I see that the dog was not eating.
On the 29th of the morning was the second opinion from my vet. And then...
I see that.
And within an hour, I
see
took...
that. When was the next?
On the same day. The same day his tail was amputated with surgical intervention.
At what vet?
True Care for Pets. It's an emergency pet center.
May I see the write-up and the bill for that,
yes.
please?
So this shows...
Don't tell me what it shows, just put it down. Okay, and now Marley is fine. Look, he has a shorter tail.
Yes.
Looks perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Okay, but he wasn't for a long time. All right, Miss Layton, tell me what happened on the 21st of July.
On the 21st, she came in around 11 o'clock. And we start taking our dogs in at 7 o'clock, so she was one of the last dogs we took for the day, so that's why they were there so long. I have a copy of Marley's card that we write everything on as they come in, as I do on every dog we do. And it shows Marley has been having trouble with that tail since 2018.
2018?
Yes.
And what kind of trouble has Marley been having with the tail?
We have been taking fly eggs off the end of that tail since 2018, the very tip of it.
Explain that. Look at me. You've been doing what? Explain to me what you've been doing.
When we put him in the bathtub and the big crust is there, it's full of fly eggs. So when we have him in the tub, we soak them all off, clean it all up, and each year it has progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And she's done nothing about it up until the day that it was so bad that it really bled.
Your Honor, that's incorrect,
Okay.
and I can show you proof.
Just a second. I would like you to show me on her card, starting at that.
You want 2018 only?
No, well, I want to start with 2018, where you document the fact that you told her that this was a problem and that she's done nothing about it. But that's the tip of the tail.
Yes.
That doesn't require any surgical removal. She had, according to you, fly eggs that were crusted, and you soaked it, and you removed the eggs and continued with the grooming.
Yes, the problem with it is when they leave the fly eggs for that long, they get a bacterial infection, and the tail will not heal without antibiotics. And it just has progressively gotten worse and worse.
Your Honor, can I show proof?
Just a second. I would like you to point to me what you're talking about. Okay, and read it to me.
Okay, August 9th of 2018 was the first time we started seeing trouble.
Tell me what it says.
It says...
Read exactly what it says in 2018.
She takes a 7 on the body, which makes the dog bald, which makes him more susceptible to flies.
Okay, no. Just read what it says.
7 everything, number 10 on muzzle. Had bloody tail.
Wait just a second. Had bloody?
Your Honor, she forged that card and I can show proof.
Just a second. I don't want to hear you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I only want you. Are any of them here today?
I didn't bring any. I thought the card was good enough. It has their initials and their signatures.
How do I know who they are?
Brenda Cornejo is accusing dog groomer Diane Layton of lacerating her dog's tail during a grooming appointment. Brenda says the tail was amputated as a result.
Okay, read what it says, please. I can't read your handwriting.
This is one of my groomers. Had bloody tail after bath. I did not do.
Oh, no. That's it. Just a second. I only want you to read me what you did, not your groomer.
These are all what different groomers have done to Marley. Every one of these.
Just a second. Miss Layton, do these groomers still work for you?
Well, most of them. I only have 6 now because of COVID.
But most of these groomers work for you. I'm not reading what they said. That's hearsay. I can't read what they observed. Are any of them here today?
I didn't bring any. I thought the card was good enough. It has their initials and their signatures.
How do I know who they are? Maybe you wrote that. Maybe your sister wrote it. Maybe your friend wrote it.
I can show you cards.
That's the way courts work. Courts have to have witnesses that they can examine. And they can say, describe what you meant. Tail, explain to me what you meant by bloody tail. I have to be able to ask a witness. Do you understand
cards on, yeah, I do, but I have cards on every dog we do, and every dog, everything is noted. Everything. That's what this catalog is.
Your Honor, can I show proof of her false statement?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm discarding it anyway, but if you want to tell me why it's false, you can.
So her statement is completely false because she's claiming that since 2018 he had a condition or a tail problem or supposed bleeding, which aside from the pictures that are dated from 2017 to the present of February 2020, I have my witness who has seen my dogs. Her kids have played with my dogs. They've seen him in the front yard.
Now I'll hear you witness.
Hello, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
My name is Tia Weinstein.
Ms. Weinstein, when was the last time that you saw Marley just prior to his having his tail amputated?
Probably in February 2020 when we just have the dogs come out and play with the kids in our cul-de-sac.
How many times have you seen Marley play between 2017 and February of 2020?
Numerous times. Too many times, more than 10, 20, 30. It's literally a weekly thing.
Are you neighbors?
We are neighbors.
Have you ever seen injury to the dog's tail?
Never.
Have you ever seen Marley biting or scratching or biting his tail?
No, not at all.
And between 2016 and 2020, did the plaintiff ever complain prior to July 21st about Miss Layton's care of either one of her dogs?
No, never. She's never complained about any type of grooming.
Okay, very good. Anything else either one of you want to show me?
I would like to show you some pictures of fly bites on a dog that we just did this last week.
Was it this dog?
No, it was not, but it shows you what kind of damage the fly can do.
Your Honor.
Not interested.
Can I show you? I'm sorry.
Just a second. Just a minute. I'm not interested in pictures of another dog with fly bites. What else do you have?
I just have what I sent you showing that this dog has had trouble all along.
Okay, good. What else do you want to show me?
I would
Tell
like
me
to
first
show
what it
you
is.
the Yelp reviews of someone
Thank you, Ms.
grooming.
Weinstein. Not interested. What else?
And I have the copies of the medical expenses of what Marley went through and the pictures of the stages of the tail in different conditions because of...
It's that I would like to see, because I already have the numbers.
This is the picture of July 21st and how it looked.
Okay.
This is a picture of how they left him patched up in different areas of his body, so which tells me that they probably struggled
Don't
with
tell me
him.
what to tell. Don't listen to me. You want to volunteer a lot of information that you're not allowed to do. Just show me a picture. I draw my own conclusions about what the photograph represents.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So I had to lose income because of this 2-month healing process. I called in sick. I gave away shifts. I took unpaid time.
Okay. It was a terrible accident.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Brenda Cornejo says dog groomer Diane Layton severely injured her dog Marley during a grooming appointment.
Okay, what are you showing me now?
This is the condition of the tail. So these are stages of how the tail progressed from the date of injury to the healing process that took about 2 months after being amputated.
Just a second. Where was the cut? Because I assume
right here.
That you went outside and you saw the cut.
It's right here, ma'am.
Now, where
Your
on
Honor.
the tail was that cut?
On the tip, Your Honor.
Show me the other picture. Is that when he first came home?
July 21st is this picture. This is right after grooming. This is the date of injury.
Okay.
That's July
Got
21st.
it. So that's what it looked like?
Yes.
Okay, now I got it. All right, you had vet bills of $3,110.
No.
That's what I have, $400.32 and $26.78. Are there any other bills?
Yes, Your Honor.
Show me the other vet bills.
So these are all of the bills from True Care for Pets surgery. So it's that one.
What is that for?
That's a bandage light wrap.
Okay, so just a minute. That's a plus 60. Next.
And I have another 98. Then I
ahead.
have another 90.
Wound repair. That's on 8/12.
Then I have another 32.50.
I already added that $32 in, madam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Want Justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. So this is a whole packet here. So this is the main surgery.
I already have that.
Okay. And then there's this one.
Anything else? I have $33.58. Do you work, Ms. Corneo?
Yes, ma'am. I have 2 jobs. I'm a pediatric oncology nurse.
Just a minute. $6.78. I've got that already. Next. Come on.
Okay. Did you get this one?
Who took the dog to the vet?
I took him to the vet on all occasions. So I had to lose income because of this 2-month healing process. I called in sick. I gave away shifts. I took unpaid time.
Okay.
Etc.
It was a terrible accident. $33.58. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
The ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
We are all in the same exact position.
You have to find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped.
Judge Judy.
Didn't strike one up for the groomers. We get blamed for a lot.
I think the decision was appropriate and fair.
I told them, certainly ignored it.
It's hurtful, but it's false. They're well taken care of.
How can I be sorry it happened? We didn't do it.
Take pictures before and after you drop off your dog. Inspect them thoroughly.
Groomers never win.
Mine is a happy dog, and I'm glad that he survived.
They each paid cold, hard cash.
The reduced rate ski passes.
$500 to ski all year round. They're usually around $1,000.
Then it all went downhill fast.
And the ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. You have to find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped.
This is Judge Judy. Victoria Vieman, Jonathan Friedland, and Nicholas Shore are suing Vanessa de Blasio for selling them fraudulent ski passes.
Judge, this is case number 109 on the calendar in the matter of Vieman, Friedland, Shore versus de Blasio. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, please.
Miss Vieman, are you going to speak for the three of you?
I'm going to do my best, yes. and they're going to chime in.
Well, no, they won't chime in. Nobody chimes in here. We don't just hop in, we just... And
Agreed.
from what I gather, you had most of the contact with the defendant. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So prior to your interaction with her over these friends and family reduced rate ski passes, I gather that you did not know the defendant.
Not personally, no. I met the defendant through a coworker.
You met her personally through a coworker or over the internet?
Over the internet, yes. It was back in May when we were all socially distanced.
Is today the first day you met her in person?
That's correct.
So all of your other dealings with her had been over the internet?
Correct.
Through a coworker who somehow had interactions with her. And this is what your case is about. Miss de Blasio said that she could secure discount rate friends and family ski passes. And you said, oh, that's great, because I ski, and I assume your other two friends ski as well. Where do you ski?
Well, we ski all over California, but our home base, per se, is Mammoth Mountain.
Okay, and what are the name of these ski passes?
They're called Icon, and we're all returning pass holders for Icon, so we know the pass very well.
How much is the usual rate for an annual pass? You bought annual passes, correct?
That's correct, for the season. And they're usually around $1,000.
Per ticket?
Per season pass, correct.
How much was the defendant offering to...
No blackout dates, which means that you can ski any day of the year, including holidays, and then $400 for blackout dates, which means you cannot ski for the holidays.
Well, so that's a pretty good deal. That's a 50% reduction.
That's right, yes.
Or more, if
yes.
you decide to give up holidays.
Exactly.
What did you choose?
$500 to ski all year round.
And what about your two friends?
Likewise. Both Jonathan Friedland and Nick Shore paid Vanessa for $500, and then Matt Miwa, who couldn't be here with us today, chose $400 with blackout dates.
Okay, well, he's not here today.
That's right.
Is that correct, gentlemen, that each of you paid the defendant $500 for a year-round ski pass that did not exclude holidays, so you could ski during the holidays?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How did you make your payment to the defendant?
I paid Victoria via Venmo, and then she transferred that money to Vanessa.
And then I paid Vanessa directly through Zelle.
Vanessa is Mr. Blasio.
Yes.
And how did you pay the $1,000?
Through Zelle, Bank of America. I first Zelled or wired Vanessa, the defendant, $500.
And what about?
Yes. So first on June 3rd.
First for you?
Yes, because I realized that it had been legit. It was okay.
You sent her yours.
Yes.
Then he sent you, what is his name?
Jonathan.
What's your name, sir?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you sent Miss Veerman your $500.
Yes, that's correct.
And she sent it to the defendant.
Correct.
Via Zelle. Correct, Miss Veerman?
Correct, Your Honor.
And did you send it to Mr. Blasio's a personal account? How did you address it when you sent it to her?
The description, you mean, Your Honor?
Yes. Does it have her name on the account?
Yes, it does. Yes. It has her name, her phone number. I can show it to you right here if you'd like.
I'd like to see it.
Yes. Right here. Name, phone number, June 4th, Icon Pass.
Okay. And Vanessa, is that your phone number?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you received from these three people, to your name and your account, $1,500. Is that correct?
Not from the three people, only from two. That was $1,500. I never received any money from Jonathan directly.
I don't care whether you received it directly. From these three people, you received $1,500.
No.
For 3 ski passes.
No.
Well, she sent you money from Jonathan.
Correct.
But from these 3 people in total, and what they were purchasing were Icon ski passes.
That's right.
And the Icon ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
Were each of you notified that the Icon ski passes were fakes?
Yes, Your Honor. We all 3 got this fraudulent email.
Okay, now, so you're out $1,500 and you have no passes.
That's right.
And the money was forwarded to you, and they have no ski passes. And your defense is that you were duped just like they were.
Yes, Your Honor. We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. No, you're not. They gave you money They have no passes. If you were a dope that got duped, go sue somebody.
So
if you were a dope that got duped, go sue, go find the person who duped you.
He disappeared, Your Honor.
I'm going to repeat that one more time. You go find the guy that duped you right now. They got duped by you.
That's not
they
true,
sent
Your
you
Honor.
money.
That's not
they
true,
got,
Your Honor.
They sent you money. Yes, they did. They said, no, that is true. That's 100% true.
With all due
they
respect,
sent
Your Honor,
to
no,
your
it's
bank.
not.
Are you disputing what they just showed
I
me?
am disputing the context in which she agreed to send over money.
Really?
Yes.
You're disputing the context.
Correct. I did not.
Go. 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to context.
Absolutely.
She sent you money. Go.
Okay. So when she reached out to me via Facebook. The original post I do have here if you want to see it. It states in the...
I don't.
Okay. It states...
I don't. I
Sure.
don't.
Okay.
I don't want to see it, and don't tell me what it states.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is you have to go find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped. They sent you money. They can touch you. They can see you. You go find the person who disappeared that duped you. Meanwhile, they sent you money. You have to return their money. It gives you a greater incentive to go find
With all due respect, Your Honor, you said that I had 3 minutes.
in the amount of $1,500.
You said I had 3 minutes to talk, and then you didn't give it to me.
We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Unfortunately, I guess we live in a time where people don't have to take responsibility for the adult decisions that they make.
We knew exactly what we were paying for. She just got duped.
I really thought it was a good deal, and I've gotten college discount passes before where they were discounted, and I thought this was one of those deals.
Mine was also fraudulent.
Icon Pass basically sent us an email stating it was a fraudulent purchase with the fraudulent credit card.
We all got the same email.
We're really thankful that after 7 months of just our heads spinning with this crazy story, we're able to kind of put it to bed.
We were all scammed.
I'm just super thrilled with Judge Judy's decision, and I'm ready to get out there and shred.
Just be careful with you, Kai.
Ready to get on the mountain, right, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lloyd versus Lloyd, step forward.
18-year-old Cody Lloyd is suing his father, Randall Lloyd, for the value of a car he sold illegally.
Tell me your first name.
Cody?
Cody, you are 18?
Yes.
And this is your dad?
Yes.
I don't think you lived with your father all your life. Is that correct?
No. He was a weekend dad. He was a weekend dad until I moved in with him permanently on August 14th.
Of 2013?
2011.
2011. But you were a working kid, saved up some money, enough money to buy a car.
Yes.
And you weren't 18 yet, so you couldn't have the car titled solely in your name. I don't think your father disputes any of those facts. You spent your money. It was money that you earned from work.
Yes.
What kind of a car did you go with your dad to find it?
It was just on the corner outside of our house. It was for sale on the corner outside of a busy street. And I just saw it one day coming in, and I wanted to buy it, yes.
How much did you pay for it?
$4,200.
And you had that money in a bank?
Yes.
What kind of work had you done to save up that money?
I worked for insulated pipe shields for about 1.5 years.
Graduate from high school?
Yes.
Go on to school after that?
I go to Folsom Lake College right now.
Great. So this is what the case is about. You went to live with your father in 2011, purchased this car with your own money. Your father, for some reason, was out of town, and according to your father, you invited some friends over who sadly trashed your house.
Yes.
At that time, your father was very disappointed in you, and instead of turning the car over to you when you became 18, he kept the car. You want your car back. Where's the car?
Sold the car.
When did you sell it? Show me proof that you sold it.
I don't have proof. I got rid of the car a couple weeks ago.
You know, I don't believe you. And I'm telling you right now, Mr. Lloyd, before we even start, because you said that to me, I don't even think I like you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party.
And later today.
Other than the plaintiff, who else?
Of the plaintiff.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're very lucky.
Cody Lloyd says his father, Randall Lloyd, illegally sold his vehicle Randall is countersuing for damage to his home caused during a party thrown by Cody.
At some point, you knew that your son wanted his car. If I believed that you sold it, then you're just a nasty, vicious man. So I don't know who you think you're getting over on, but it sure isn't me. How many children does your father have, Cody?
3.
3. Are you the oldest, youngest?
I'm in the middle.
Do any of his other children live with him?
My sister Kelly, she's my twin. She lives with him. And I have a half-sister named Allison. She lives in Orville.
So one child lives with him.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has that child lived with him?
Ever since I've been there, since August 14th.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party. Now, sometimes those parties get out of hand, but that doesn't mean, Mr. Lloyd, that you can't steal your son's property. Wasn't your money that purchased the car? Wasn't your car to sell? Your name may have been on the car just for the purpose. You had no right to sell it. You had no right to use it in any way. None at all. Now, if I can't return the car to him because I have no power to do that, because I have a feeling that whatever I say you're going to have an answer for, I'm going to award him the money that he paid for it, which is $4,200. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Lloyd, because it's the only way that I can actually punish you. You have a counterclaim for thousands of dollars for the destruction of your home. I'm dismissing it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,200. The counterclaim's dismissed. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was graduation night. I just wanted to have a couple of friends over. It got out of hand.
He passed out, and there was like over 100 people, and he didn't know but a few of them.
I cleaned up what I could before I fell asleep.
It was gone. It was trashed. He was still drunk.
I feel bad everything like that happened. I wish just a couple people came over and that was it.
Tough love, yeah.
I don't want to sound cold, but not trusting anybody, I don't know. That sounds evil.
Don't leave your kids at home alone.
All parties in the matter of Nielsen versus LaHome. Step to the podium, please.
Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary LaHome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
Mr. Nielsen, you were a tenant of the defendants for almost 2 years, according to your complaint, when COVID struck in person or by text and indicated to her that you could not continue to pay the rent that you were paying, which was $2,000 a month. According to you, the defendant agreed, because of your work situation and the pandemic, to reduce your rent to $1,500 a month, which you did for 2 months. And then you realized that financially you could no longer afford to pay rent. I assume you either went to stay with family, or you'll tell me in a moment, and the defendant kept your security deposit. She says the security deposit was for the difference between the $2,000 a month rent you were supposed to pay and the $1,500 that you actually did pay, and that there was no agreement that you would be able to pay a reduced rent because of the pandemic. How many apartments do you have?
Just the one building. There's 3 apartments in there.
Are they all rented?
Yes.
Other than the plaintiff, who else lives there?
A single girl lives above the plaintiff, and then...
Just a second. What's her rent?
Her rent is $29.50, but it's a 2-bedroom apartment.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who was the other tenant?
Top floor, it's another 2-bedroom. It's a husband and wife, and they have paid their rent consistently.
You're very lucky.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You agreed to reduce his rent. You say, yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, all my text messages have completely dropped off my phone.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary LaHome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
Now, would you please tell me, Mr. Nielsen, on what date did you advise the defendant that, before I get to that, what kind of work do you do?
I do digital design modeling in the automotive industry.
Do you work for someone or yourself?
I work for someone.
Were your hours reduced by the company during the pandemic?
Yes.
How long have you worked for this company?
About 4 years.
And your work hours went from what to what?
They went from a bit of overtime to actually regular time.
So you lost your overtime?
Primarily, yes.
You were lucky.
I am.
Are you still working for the company?
Yes.
Where did you move to when you left the defendants? Would you tell me about the date and the conversation that you had with the defendant about reducing your rent because your work hours had been reduced?
Sure. Yeah, it was end of May, and I had reached out stating that due to the pandemic and my circumstances, as you've noted so already, that it wasn't viable for me to continue to stay at the $2,000 a month rent. And I'm very appreciative that I've, been able to stay here, and I like the place. I don't have any complaints with anything, but I can't continue to pay at this full price. And I asked if it was feasible to reduce the rent to $1,500 a month for a few months, and that was my ask of the landlord, and she explicitly agreed via text to that.
May I see the texts?
Sure.
Unless you don't dispute that. Unless you don't dispute, Ms. Loam, that you agreed to reduce his rent to $1,500 a month for a couple of months. In the texts.
Yes, but I had conditions, and one condition was...
Okay. Well, just a second. I'll hear you. If you say yes, but there were conditions, I'll see them in the text.
So the message that she sent was June 3rd. The months for the reduced rent were June and July.
June 3rd, okay, for 2 months. Okay, $1,500 for 2 months. I have this. Where are the texts right before that?
I have that on my phone, I believe. I don't know if that one is.
Sure. Well, I need it right before that, but that's just a statement.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Are you able to see if I put the phone? I don't think I have the one prior written. I have it in the text on my phone. Is that okay?
Do you have it on your phone? You can look on your phone, sir. Yes, of course.
Okay. So the message immediately before the okay, $1,500 for 2 months.
You can put it up there, and I can read it,
Great.
sir. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Loam, that is crystal clear that you agreed to reduce his rent for 2 months to $1,500. Now you say yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, all my text messages to Alex and from Alex have completely dropped off my phone. I took my phone.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
That's unfortunate.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy. Divorce kills a catered party.
I don't have the complete contract.
Because it wasn't your contract.
There's a little bit of a story here.
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very disappointed. She didn't give me a chance to give my side of the story at all.
I think she's incredibly clear-headed and very concise in her interpretation and judgment.
I asked for documentation, that he would get me some pay stubs, some sort of evidence, which he never did.
She asked, and I provided her with information which she just claimed she didn't receive.
He was having a, financial hardship.
I mean, I feel like regardless of whatever moratorium there is, if I was financially capable of paying a reduced rent, I felt like that was the moral thing to do.
It's rented out.
I'm glad it's over.
Who signed the contract with her to book the date?
My ex-husband and I both did.
Divorce kills a catered party.
You are not a signatory to the contract.
I did sign that contract.
Now this ex craves a refund.
A contract?
Because it wasn't your contract.
There's a little bit of a story here.
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
This is Judge Judy. Toby Petrocelli is suing caterer Nancy Veretti for the return of catering fees for a party that never happened.
Judge's case number 106 on the calendar in the matter of Petrocelli versus Veretti. Both parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Ms. Petrocelli, I've read your complaint, and so this is a case involving a written contract.
Correct.
And the contract was for the defendant to cater an event that you were planning. You contacted her, according to your complaint, sometime in July of 2019, and your event was to take place in December.
Correct.
You didn't state what kind of an event this was in your complaint. Is there a reason for that?
It was a celebration for birthdays, retirement, and anniversary. It was a combination of events.
Okay. For the same people?
Correct.
Was it to take place at a hall or at your home?
It was to take place at a hall, at a club.
How were you referred to the defendant?
At the time, my husband had procured her information.
You got the information from your husband?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And who signed the contract?
My ex-husband
You
and
and
I
your
both
husband.
did. Correct.
On what date did you sign the contract?
We signed the contract on July 10th.
And the event was supposed to take place, according to what I've read, on December the 6th.
Correct.
And according to what I've read, you gave her an initial deposit on signing of the contract of $1,500.
That is correct.
With payments to be made periodically. Just a second, I'll get to you in a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
With payments to be made periodically until December 6th.
Correct.
On what date and in what amount was the next payment due?
So there's a little bit of a story here.
No, there's no story. This is a contract. I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
Okay.
You signed the contract on July 10th.
Correct.
2020. You gave her a $1,500 deposit. Is that not the date the contract was signed?
July 18th.
July 18th.
And it's signed
Just a
by
second.
Mr. Petrocelli.
Put up your copy of the contract. Put up your
Mine?
copy of the contract. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
yours.
thought you were talking to Nancy. I apologize.
I got hers, and it says that your former husband signed it on July 18th, and I'd like to see the copy that you have.
Okay.
Because you say we both signed it.
He signed. I don't have the one that has my signature on that. I will look for that.
Well, you have to have that, and it was signed on the 18th.
We made the deposit to her on the 10th.
Listen to me. The date of the contract is the 18th, and it was only signed by your husband.
Okay.
Now, we'll nuance this in a second, but my next question would be, if your name was on that contract, on what date was the next payment due? Because that's how these events work. You make an initial deposit, and then you make periodic payments in order to secure the date. Now, on what date, pursuant to this contract that only your husband signed, on what date was the next payment due?
The next payment was made on...
No, I didn't ask you. No. Listen to me carefully.
I'm listening.
On what date was the payment due?
The payment?
Just tell me what date, pursuant to the contract, was the payment due?
I don't have the complete contract. Therefore, I do not know that exact date.
Well, then that's part of your problem, because it wasn't your contract. On what date was the next payment due, Ms. Faharty?
This is an estimate invoice and supports the contract, and it's something that
No, listen to me.
Right here.
I asked you a very simple, was the next payment due?
August 6th.
Contractually, on or before August 6th, the person who signed that contract had to give you what amount of money on August 6th?
$3,500.
And when was the next payment due?
On November 6th.
And in what amount was that payment?
$3,500.
Now we're going to get to your story. So you made a $1,500. Let's say you were the person who did this contract. Then we'll get to the divorce later and whether or not this was the subject of the divorce proceeding. We'll see. I assume you have that information. On August 6th, you were to make a $3,500 additional deposit. Now, you understand that these additional deposits also, in that contract, it says the date that you're allowed to cancel. How many days prior to the event, and what were the penalties for cancellation pursuant to the contract, Ms. Faharty?
That states no refunds 90 days before the date of the event, and they canceled December 19th, which is approximately 45 days.
I asked you a simple question. I don't want you to volunteer anything. And then you'll put it up with a line on what date did the contract provide they could cancel without forfeiting the money that had been paid so far. On what date? Was it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
90 days.
In the contract.
In the contract.
Let me see.
Okay. So
90 days.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Okay.
contract, no refunds will be given all days prior to event's original date.
Okay. And that's the contract. That's the refund policy.
Mm-hmm.
On what date did you cancel?
I canceled on Friday, October 16th, when we came back from being out of the country.
Okay. Well, that's less than 90 days. However, you made a combined deposit. You sent $8,000, according to you, or your husband sent $8,000.
I did.
Only $3,500 is forfeited because that was paid on August 6th. The other payment wasn't due until November 6th of 2020, Ms. Fajardi. And if she canceled in October, the other payment really wasn't due that she sent you. Am I reading that correctly?
Change in the terms of the contract based on a request for a discount on the event.
No, show me that in writing.
Show
me that in writing.
Right here.
Show me that in writing.
I say, hi, Toby. Refigure costs for pay in full discount for review. I figured costs to reflect what the savings would be for a pay in full discount. I showed the discount above the sales tax line, reducing the sales tax of savings too. No credit card fees for check or cash. Did review foods for discount and amounts. Take a look. I'm available to review by phone or stop by today or tomorrow. On the new estimate dated 8/5 before
show me where she agreed to those terms.
When she paid the check, because here's the new estimate here. Estimate invoice has to be refigured.
No, I understand. I understand that. Listen to me, Miss Fajardi.
Yes.
She's not getting anything because she has no standing. She is not a signatory to the contract. She has no standing. Do you understand that, Ms. Petrocelli?
Yes.
You are not a signatory to the contract.
I did sign that contract, so I'm trying. I will locate that for you.
Listen, this is the time that we have all evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And you came to court. You knew you were coming to court. It's contract. And its contract looks like the contract she just showed to me. There are two lines, one for your name and one for your husband's name. Now, did you have an attorney during your divorce proceedings?
Yes, I did.
Did your husband have an attorney?
Yes, he did.
Was this listed as a potential marital asset?
No, it was not.
Well, that's too bad, because if anybody is owed any money, the person who signed the contract may be owed some money. But for two smart people, when you were divorced, you certainly didn't take care of it. You have no claim to this money, Ms. Petrocelli, or any part of it.
The contract is written out in both of our names?
It may be, but you didn't sign it.
Okay.
Maybe, but you didn't sign it. And you had dealings with her. Your husband may have benefited from that, but you can't modify a contract with her that only he signed. And if the two of you at some point agreed to a discounted fee, if you would pay all cash, so it wouldn't go through a credit card because they charge points.
Correct.
And you did, in fact, do that, and you canceled before the 90 days, then you're not entitled to any money. Then your husband wouldn't be entitled to any money. Certainly you're not entitled to it because you're not a signatory to the contract. Anyway, we're done. Thank you very much. Your case is dismissed.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
One would think that is what it is.
As a small business person, it's been very, very important to stick to our policies and our rules.
When I contacted her initially, she was very upset that we were going to have to cancel.
They're wonderful people. This was a joyous occasion, and we were all just devastated.
Said she'd get the money to me and then just kept stalling. So this is why we ended up here.
Boy, if she wants a party, she's still got one with me.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bennett versus Robinson. Step forward.
Giselle Bennett is suing her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, for crashing his car into a retaining wall on her property.
Miss Bennett, you're sleeping.
Yes.
It's August 18th.
Yes.
2012.
Yes.
And you hear a commotion.
Yes.
Wakes you up.
Yeah.
Turns out this commotion is a result of the defendant's car wrapping itself around your garden and the wall of your garden.
Right.
And you want the defendant to pay for the damage.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, Mr. Robinson, what am I going to do with you, sir? Let me just refresh your recollection as to what you swore to in your answer.
Giselle Bennett claims her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, crashed his car into a retaining wall on her property. Shannon says he has no idea what happened.
So, what kind of car do we have?
96 Chevrolet Caprice.
And on August 18th, where were you and where was your car?
Well, from my knowledge, the last time I remember my car being in my driveway, parked on a...
Just a second. The last you remember your car, Mr. Robinson, it was on your driveway.
Yes.
And that was when?
August 18th, 17th, the day prior to the incident.
So I want to understand this. You had parked your car on your driveway the night before this happened, and that's the last you knew of it.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Robinson, what am I going to do with you, sir? Let me just refresh your recollection as to what you swore to in your answer. You said, I did park my car in front of plaintiff's home on the evening of August 18th because I was having people over and wanted my guests to park in my driveway. You remember writing that?
Yes.
Well, that's a little different from what you just told me. See, what you just told me, which I repeated to you twice, was that your car was in your driveway, where you parked.
Yes, I am.
And in what city and state do you reside?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, Georgia is one of those states that require cars to have insurance.
Yes.
Not necessarily collision insurance, but it requires you to have liability insurance in case you do damage to someone else's property or person.
Yes.
So if your car, I don't care who's driving the car, if your car causes damage to the plaintiff's property, because you don't deny that her property was damaged.
Yes.
You deny you're responsible.
Exactly.
So if your car was insured, the insurance would have paid for the damage to her property.
Yes.
But your car was not
insured.
Insured.
Yeah.
And according to you, in either version of the story, either the one you told me or the one you swore to in your answer, you drove the car. Because in the story you told me before, you drove the car and parked it in your driveway. The story that you wrote to me in the answer was you drove the car and parked it in front of her house because you wanted your guests to be able to park in your driveway. Either way, you drove an uninsured car. Why did you do that?
I mean, Your Honor, I know it's silly and basically against the law, but I just moved it because we're a couple of feet.
You turned it on, right? You turned it on.
Yes.
Now I want you to think very carefully. Now that we know that one of these versions maybe is true, was the car parked in front of her house or in your driveway?
In front of her house on the street, yes.
And you did that because?
So that I have room for my guests to park and be able to get out when they left my house.
When you parked the car in front of her house, did you leave the keys in the car?
No, ma'am.
Now, the car ended up not in front of her house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He knows he has to pay for it. He wouldn't even argue with me that he doesn't have to pay for it. Isn't that right, Mr. Robinson?
I feel like I don't have to pay for it because I...
Oh, you don't want to go there, Mr. Robinson?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Giselle Bennett claims her neighbor, Shannon Robinson, crashed his car into a retaining wall on her property. Shannon says he has no idea what happened.
Now, can I see pictures of where the car ended up? You can see from there, right?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Well, that's a lot of damage, Mr. Robinson, that would have been taken care of, sir, if you had insurance. Now you're going to answer my question that I asked you a little while ago. Why didn't you have insurance?
I believe my insurance had got canceled 2 days before or the day of the party.
Why?
Non-payment.
Well, they don't cancel it without putting you on notice, so they send you a letter. The letter says if you don't pay, you're not going to have insurance.
Yes.
And you just ignore that. Now, do you work, Mr. Robinson?
As of now, I do.
No. Then. August, listen to me very carefully. August 18th, 2012, were you working?
No, ma'am.
In whose house were you living?
My mother's.
What were you doing in August of 2012?
Looking for work.
You looking for work?
Applying online, going to job career centers, job fairs.
And how would you get there? Got where I'm going?
Yeah.
You have an estimate to fix this damage. I think I've got Mr. Robinson. He's got me. He's not a bad guy. You know, he didn't murder anybody. He had a party. Somebody got loaded and caused damage. He has to pay for it. He knows he has to pay for it. Right, Mr. Robinson?
I feel like I don't have to pay for it because I.
Oh, you don't want to go there, Mr. Robinson?
Because
You don't want to go there, sir? I just explained to you that if you had a car that had insurance, your insurance company would have paid for it because it would have been your responsibility.
But then that'd be a case of me not having insurance. We're dealing with the car being in her yard.
You think it flew into her yard?
I didn't do it, man.
It flew?
I didn't do it. When I woke up, on my knowledge of...
You don't have to do it. You're responsible for it. It's your car.
So if somebody crashed my car, I'm responsible to pay for that?
Absolutely. That's what you have insurance for.
Yeah, I have a letter from his insurance company that said his policy was canceled on July 22nd.
Well, that's not the day before. That's not a day before. That would be a month before.
I got that letter. I got that letter 2 days before saying that my insurance...
Oh, well, maybe you were too busy to open your mail.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Do you have an estimate or a bill to fix?
Those pictures shows it being fixed. These are the estimates that I got. One was $19.
Well, how much did it cost you to have it fixed?
$350.
That's a bargain. My goodness, Mr. Robinson, you should go over and give her a big hug and a kiss. She got the best possible price for you, $350. Why didn't you give her money for it? You working now?
Yes, I'm working now.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about a civil suit against me until a week ago.
Well, now you know.
They moved out of the neighborhood.
Now you know.
They moved out of the neighborhood. I had no contact with them. I seen the wall was fixed, but I had no contact with them.
We still live in the neighborhood.
But not in the same house.
Yeah, we still live in the
same house.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen him?
No, ma'am.
Well, you must be busy working.
Yes, ma'am.
$350, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. An old RV needed some TLC.
The body itself has not lasted.
Nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine.
She heard all the evidence and found that he indeed was responsible for fixing my wall.
I offered to repair the wall. I offered to pay.
I'm just thankful nobody was hurt.
I mean, I feel something was unjust about it.
An old RV needed some TLC.
You pay him to fix this 35-year-old camper.
And I had to pay someone else money to fix those repairs.
But he has an age-old problem.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner. You're not following the math.
But the body itself has not lasted.
Nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine.
This is Judge Judy. John Progner is suing mechanic Miguel Ramos for performing shoddy work on his RV and leaving it incomplete.
Justice case number 105 on the calendar in the matter of Progner versus Ramos. Both parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Progner, you are the owner of a 1985 Toyota camper.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you purchase this camper?
The year 2000 in Santa Cruz, California.
You purchased it when it was 5 years old.
No, it's a 1985.
15 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
For $2,500. And you used it for 20 years.
Yes.
Sounds like you got your money's worth out of it.
I put a new motor in it when I first drove down here. I bought it from friends, and the new motor was in it, and the motors continued to last. But the body itself has not lasted.
Mr. Progner, nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine. So you got a whole bunch of use out of this 1985 camper that you bought 20 years ago for $2,500, but you decided you wanted body work on it. In addition to being very old, it's also damaged by something falling on the roof. In any event, you found Mr. Ramos. He said he would fix the whole thing for $5,000. And you said, okay, and according to you, you paid him in July of this year $4,500 towards the $5,000 bill to fix this 35-year-old camper. So I would like to see proof of all of those payments.
Right here. Each one of these is a withdrawal from the Bank of America. I have text comments that are validating these as well that say, like, on the 11th of June, I will call you and I've got money for you. Can I bring it by tomorrow? Miguel responds back in the text. So each one of these is validated. I have met Miguel's neighbors. Miguel has been over to my brother's family's house for Christmas. He has met every member of my immediate family, Judge Judy, and everyone had the understanding Miguel was being paid to repair my camper.
Perform a miracle. That's what you paid for.
Then why did you give me the price, Miguel? You're the one that dubbed the price.
Just a second. Don't talk to each other. I'm looking up what a 35-year-old camper is valued at.
Judge Judy, I paid to put a new motor in that in the past as well, so the 35-year-old camper has been maintained in certain aspects.
Yeah, fine. I'm not buying that thing. That thing doesn't show me checks. That thing shows me where you took money out of.
Okay, I've got a voice recording right here where I've called Miguel and saying, Miguel, I've got $1,000 or $500 for you. Can I come over and give it to you? Can I play that, ma'am?
Oh, sure. I could see that you might want to fix it for $500.
Hey, Miguel,
Absolutely.
how's it going, man? I hope it's okay with you. I want to give you $500 tomorrow. If that works for you, call me back or hit me back or whatever, and I'll meet up with you tomorrow and give you $500. So I've got several of those, Judge Judy. I've got another one.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'd like to hear the rest of them.
Okay, I've got texts. That's the one voicemail that I've got saying that. But the other texts that I have, I've got them typed out right here, man.
No, I want to see it on your phone.
Okay.
I don't want...
Then I'll bring that up for you then.
I've got $500. Maybe you'd want to spend $500 to fix it.
Miguel gave me a rate of $5,000, ma'am. He's the one that chose the price. He gave me the bid.
Mr. Progna, there is no way a normal person spends $5,000 on a camper that they paid $2,500 for 20 years ago that was 15 years old when they bought it. No way.
The camper is now worth, if you look at retail value, ma'am, those campers are selling for anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000. They're very, very expensive.
Fully restored.
Okay.
Here's the text here where
Mr.
I have
Progna,
paying Miguel
Mr. Progna.
$1,000. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Miguel, I have $1,000 for you to be around. Yes, definitely, I'll be here tomorrow. Got your floors done today. Mr. Progna, according to your complaint, he gave you a price of $5,000. Crazy as that may be for somebody to pay $5,000 to fix this relic of a camper that had been damaged. What you say in your complaint was you paid him $4,500 and you had to spend another $1,000 or $1,134. So at most you've spent $6,000, $4,500 to Miguel, and another, at most, $1,500 because you also say you have to rewire some broken lights that Miguel destroyed. Whether that's true or not, I'm $6,000. Is what you're telling me that the defendant did no work? Because you say yourself, when you went to pay him the $500 upon completion, and I'm not so sure I buy a whole story about $5,000 to fix it, I noticed questionable work and voiced my concerns. Miguel just claimed he wasn't finished yet.
Here's questionable work,
So you
Judge
said in
Judy.
August...
I've got one tail light, one brake light, and one turn signal, all split between both sides. I've got a vent right here that you can see light through.
Taillights.
You're not listening to what I said to you. He did work on your camper. At most, if I believe your complaint, it cost you an extra $1,000. And if you fix the taillight, an extra $440. So in total, you would have spent $6,000 to fix just a piece of that. $1,500
Judge Judy,
is for
I
work
paid Miguel
that he
to fix
didn't
my
do.
brakes.
No, you
My
did
brakes
not.
were the
You
main
did
thing
not.
that I
You
came
did
here
not
for. I
thank
got
for that.
towed home by my brakes
Nope.
because my brakes froze up in the camping trip.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner. You're not following the math.
Judge
You
Judy,
paid
I
him
paid Miguel
$4,500.
$4,500 to fix my brakes, and I had to pay someone else money that I already paid to Miguel to fix those repairs.
The same.
You're not taking advantage of me, Mr. Pogner, because you're not paying
Progner
attention.
is my name, ma'am.
You made an agreement with him to fix your camper.
Yes.
As you said earlier, don't speak now. Now put on your listening ears. To fix the camper, both mechanically and cosmetically. And you were going to pay him $5,000, and that included the brakes. You paid him $4,500. He did work on the camper. You say you had to pay someone additionally $1,100 to fix the brakes. So now you've spent, instead of $5,000, you've spent $5,600. Then you say a taillight doesn't work because of something he wired wrong, and you have an estimate for $440. That brings the total to $6,000 to get your camper back the way you want it. That's according to your complaint. You're not entitled to $5,000 back.
My camper is ruined by Miguel, Judge Judy. The roof is ruined. Here's the roof right here with big holes in it.
Okay.
Judge Judy was supposed to install an air conditioner for me.
I used
He was supposed
3-year-old
to
air
fix
conditioner.
He was supposed to fix the oil leaks in the motor.
No, I
My
wasn't.
brakes were the main
He
one.
paid $10,000
The oil
for
leaked
a
off
shop
of there.
twice to
I
get that
paid
motor.
$15 for $15 for the oil leak to repair in about 2 hours, Judge. The way I met him was through Beth, his girlfriend. He had to get rid of Beth because she became too needy on him. He became a very aggressive person. Miguel does not pay his child support, Judge Judy. He's been hounded by Florida.
Yeah,
I've seen demand payments for
That's not
between
what we're
$800 and
here in court
$900 of all of this.
We're not
Miguel
here
is
in court
not a
for that.
nice person and has taken advantage of me, Judge Judy. And here's many validations of this.
You want to show me a photograph of the exterior of your 35-year-old camper
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
got back from Miguel?
Yes.
That you got back from him?
Here's my camper now sitting in the back of the yard at the break place where I can't drive it still.
Don't listen to me, sir.
Yes,
I didn't
ma'am.
ask you to say anything. I said just show it to me. So now I see it. Now I'd like to see the camper when you brought it to Miguel.
I do not have a picture of what it looked like when I brought it to Miguel.
I have those, Your Honor.
May I see it, please?
This picture here shows where he had a store that was full of homeless. They ripped the door out from it. They partied inside. They used the toilet like 40 times. There was all kinds
This
of...
is not the truth. Not the truth at all. Not the truth at all.
If you interrupt one more time, I'm dismissing your case, Mr. Progner. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Unless I'm asking you a question, if you interrupt again, I'm dismissing your case. We understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Judge Judy.
Photograph of the interior after you worked on it.
Yes.
Is that the inside of the camper?
And later today,
Angie put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV and went and took a nap.
I would like to know what a tablet is.
An iPad.
An iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
John Progner claims mechanic Miguel Ramos performed shoddy work on his RV, leaving it incomplete. He is asking for a refund of the money he paid.
Mr. Ramos, is that a photograph of his camper?
Yes, it is, Miss Judy. This is basically...
When he brought it into you?
Yes, yes.
No, not basically. Is that a picture of his camper?
Yes.
Do you have any other pictures?
I sure do. I have 4 more.
Is that the interior?
Yes, that's the interior. Removed completely all the flooring out of it.
Mr. Ramos, do you have a photograph of the interior after you worked on it?
I do, and...
Just show me the picture of the interior after you worked on it. Is that the inside of the camper?
Yes, that is...
After you worked on it?
Yes, it is, Miss Judy.
And now I'd like to see the photograph that the plaintiff just put up of the camper fixed by Mr. Ramos.
Beautiful.
Looks great. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's it. Thank you, Miss Judy. Thank you so much.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Basically, I did what I was supposed to do.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
You should be happy what he got. He could go to the beach and hang out in it.
And that piece of whatever you want to call him just got walked out of here for free.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Scott versus Hastis. Step forward.
Daycare provider Angela Scott is suing her former client, Stacy Hastis, for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacy claims Angela is a negligent provider, and she's not paying.
Ms. Scott, it is your claim that the defendant owes you 4 days of daycare services for her 2 children.
Yes.
And Ms. Tastas has defense. Her defense is you shouldn't be entitled to any money for taking care of the 2 children because you neglected them. So, Ms. Tastas, on what date did you bring your 2 children to Ms. Scott?
I don't have an exact date.
On what date, Ms. Scott?
May 15th, 16th, and 30th.
You brought them on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay for them on the 15th?
No, I did not.
How much was the agreed price for the 15th?
They were there for 6.5 hours at $5.50 an hour for both children, so $35.75.
So you availed you didn't pay for it.
I was told I could pay all at the end of the week.
But we're in court now, so now not what you were told. Now we're in court, and we're going to figure out how much you owe and how much you're going to pay. So on the 15th, you took your children, $35.75, and were satisfied sufficiently to bring them back on the 16th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you brought them back on the 16th. And how many hours did you work on the 16th?
From 9:33 in the morning to 1:50 for a total of $23.50.
Now, there is a long gap between May 16th and May 30th. What happened, Ms. Tastas?
On the 15th, I brought them back. Everything seemed to be fine.
No, listen to me. I don't want to hear that you were not satisfied, that you had concerns about her care of the children or anything else about the 15th. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you were any sort of a mother, if you had sufficient concerns, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 16th, which you did. So you owe her $35.75 for the 15th. Now, having brought your children back on the 16th, I am asking you what happened between the 16th and the 30th, because you don't deny that you brought the children back on the 30th, which means if you were any sort of a mother, your children on the 16th, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 30th. So clearly, you owe for the 16th, which is $23.50. My question to you is, what happened to her caring for the children between the 16th and the 30th?
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor, she never mentioned that I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she
I
ate.
shouldn't have to mention that. You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daycare provider Angela Scott says former client Stacy Hastis owes for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacy claims Angela doesn't deserve to be paid.
Now, what happened between the 16th and the 30th?
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Well, that would have suggested to me, as a normal mother, you, not your mother, you, normal mother, she brought my mother the wrong child. I may not, just a second. 30.
Because I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Just a second, that's fine, just a second. You gave her the benefit of the doubt, so you owe the money for the 16th. Now, you gave her the benefit of the doubt, and despite the fact that your mother said, you know, she gave me the wrong kid, and despite the fact that you had other concerns about her care on the 15th and 16th, you brought your children back on the 30th. And how many hours were your children there on the 30th?
I'm not sure.
How many hours were they there on the 30th?
3.25.
How much?
It's right around $18.
Now, what happened on the 30th, Ms. Hastis? Because after the 30th, then you did not bring your children back there anymore.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And you left your children there for 3 hours. Where did you go during those 3 hours?
I worked.
Okay, so far you owe for the 15th, you owe for the 16th. Now, you want to tell me why you don't owe for the 30th?
I don't owe anything.
Oh, yes, you do. I just
up.
explained to you that you ate the steak. You went to the restaurant, you ate the steak. You didn't return the steak and say, I don't like the way this tastes. You ate it, and then you said, you know what? I've had better steak. I'm not paying for it. You ate the steak on the 15th. You ate the steak on the 16th. And you ate the steak enough so that you brought the kids back there on the 30th for another steak. Now, all I'm asking you is you do owe her for the 15th and think you don't owe her for the 30th. I've already ruled on the 15th and 16th because you ate the steak. Now, if you have some compelling reason, because you didn't bring your children back after the 30th, if you have some compelling reason why you think you should not pay for the 30th, that I'll hear you, but you are going to pay for the 2 days when you ate the steak. The 30th is what we're talking about. 30th.
I picked my daughter up, and as every mother, you ask your kid what they did that day. She told me that Angie put the kids in bed, put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV, and went and took a nap.
You're the one
I'm
who
not
brought...
paying anybody to neglect my children. If you don't watch the kids, you shouldn't get money for saying you watch the kids. And you, as a daycare, you don't go lay down and take a nap.
I would like to know what a tablet is.
An iPad.
An iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Who takes care of your children now?
I do. I had to quit my job not being able to find proper care, and I didn't trust to leave them with anybody anymore. So I quit my job to stay home with my kids.
What's wrong with your mother?
My mother works.
I don't understand. It's $787.
In my parent handbook, it's $5 a day late fees. She said she'd be there June 2nd with a check. So late fees started June 3rd when she didn't show up to pay me.
$77.25. Judgment for the plaintiff.
No.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she never mentioned that I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she ate.
I shouldn't have to
May I say something?
You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched your kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Listen to me very carefully. And you too. If your daughter said, after she had a conversation with you, my mother told me I was given the wrong child at daycare, and therefore this is not the kind of place that I want for my children to be cared for. I'm speaking. Try putting on your listening ears. Then I would say, fine, I may listen to that. But she ate the steak, and not only did she eat the steak, but she brought the children back on the 30th. And I don't care what the reason was. Whether the reason was she had to go to work. What?
She had no choice, Your Honor.
She had no choice. If there's something wrong with you, that's my judgment. Goodbye.
Your Honor. Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He forged my son's signature.
I'm waiting for them to finish lying to you.
He never, you signed it.
Next Judge Judy.
I don't think she deserves a dime. I shouldn't have to pay someone to neglect my children.
We do stuff with the kids every day, and I didn't neglect her kids.
I have a 4-year-old who comes home and tells me she went and took a nap. You don't take a nap when you're watching someone else's kids.
I didn't take a nap while her kid was there.
When I went to pick the children up, the babysitter took a long time to get the door, which concerned me.
She never even voiced a complaint to me about anything.
When she finally did come to the door, she tried to give me a different infant, and I said that one wasn't mine.
I've never given anyone the wrong child. The days that they were there was my kids were the only other ones there, so I have no idea what she's even talking about.
Make sure you check everything out before. Otherwise, you could end up with someone neglecting your kids.
Everyone that meets me always comes, meets my staff, looks around, and everyone's happy with it.
She came into me, I felt super bad.
A mechanic promised to make it right.
How much to fix your car?
He said anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000.
Where did you get the money?
It was my life savings.
Now only the judge can salvage it.
Did you fix her car?
No, ma'am, I was trying.
Try. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You did nothing.
This is Judge Judy. Tara Dern is suing Enrique De La Vara for the return of money she paid him to fix her car after she'd been in an accident. Tara claims Enrique didn't do any work.
Judge's case number 102 on the calendar in the matter of Dern versus De La Vara. Parties have been sworn in.
Miss Dern, you had an accident with your car. According to you, you were rear-ended by someone, and then you went into the car in front of you. Is that what happened?
I was bumped in an accident, and the impact shocked me, and I rear-ended somebody, and it was a really bad accident.
So you had damage to both the front and rear of your car.
Correct.
In what month and year did the accident happen?
July 27th, 2020.
According to your complaint, you had liability insurance on your car, which is a relatively new car, but did not have collision on the car. So whatever expenses were going to be, they were going to be your expenses, because what I understand from your complaint is that the person who hit you fled the scene.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Do you have a police report of that incident?
I do not.
Do you have any paperwork with regard to that incident?
I do not.
Did your insurance company pay the car that you hit?
We do have some pictures of evidence from the accident.
No, I want to know if you have any documentation from your insurance company. Who were your insurance carriers?
Geico. I have Geico insurance.
And you had them on that date, on the date of the accident?
Yes, correct, Your Honor.
Well, you hit the car in front of you. Did you give that car owner your insurance information?
Yes.
Were you contacted by Geico?
Yes.
Did Geico settle that claim?
It's still being under investigation.
Do you have any letters from Geico back and forth?
Not with me, but I have received letters.
That they're still investigating the accident?
Yes, correct.
And police were not called to the scene?
Police were called.
If the police were called, there was a report?
Yes, I didn't bring the information, Your Honor.
You didn't bring the police report?
I didn't bring it.
I'd like to see photographs of your car after the accident. Do you have one full picture of the car? And then you can show me its parts.
Here's the front. Here's the back.
Okay, so that's where you hit somebody, and that's...
This is the rear. I have multiple rears.
Got it. Okay. That's a pretty bad accident. Was anybody hurt?
I was under a lot of shock, but fortunately no one was hurt. I had some chemical burn on my hand, but...
How did you find the defendant who you brought your car to fix?
So I posted something on the San Diego Conscious Community page in regards to looking for someone who specializes under collision repair. So someone that I knew personally referred me to the shop TJ Crossman's, and she specifically asked me to ask for a guy named Ricky. So I said, great, I'm being taken care of. I'm just really looking forward to getting my vehicle fixed. So I
Who
went.
is this person?
This woman is someone that I knew, that I thought I could trust.
Who?
Her name is Dulce.
And how did she say she knew Ricky?
She didn't specify. She just said, here's the shop you should go to. Ask for a guy named Ricky.
So you went and you found Ricky, and Ricky worked at a body shop.
Yes, correct.
Was your car drivable or not?
It was not. I had to get it towed there.
On what date did you get it towed there?
August 4th.
Mr. Delavara, you're shaking your head no. It wasn't towed to your shop?
No, it was towed to the shop, ma'am. Your Honor, it's just it wasn't a body shop. We're an automotive repair shop. Well, I don't work there anymore, but it was an automotive repair shop. It wasn't a body shop.
Okay. So what kind of work do you do?
I'm a health coach, and I also teach classes. Previously to the accident...
She's not a mechanic.
Yes.
Go ahead. Previous to the accident, what?
I was driving money, so just extra money.
When you brought your car into this mechanic's shop and you asked for Ricky, he introduced himself. And did you make a side deal with him that he would fix the car on his own time?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. And the side deal that you made with him, which he would not be doing on his boss's time, was how much to fix your car?
He said anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000.
Had you gotten other estimates to fix the car?
No, Your Honor. At the time, I was living in fear. I was very emotional, and I just wanted to get my car fixed. I wasn't thinking clearly at the time.
Where did you get the money?
I just had money. It was my life savings.
You had the money where? In a savings account or in a checking account? In what? What bank?
It was Huntington Bank. It was in my checking account.
Now, you say you wired the defendant money to start working on your car. Do you have proof of that wire?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Here's the first payment of $3,000.
And that went into what account of yours, Mr. Delavara?
It was a Western Union. I just went and picked up the cash. It didn't go into an account.
Okay, so she wired it and you picked it up in cash at Western Union.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was $3,000. And then she sent you another payment.
Yes.
When?
I think it was another $2,000.
Did you fix her car?
I did not.
Why not?
I was in the process of getting the parts for the car, and I mean, I tried to save her some money because she was...
How long did it take you to get the parts for the car?
Well, I never got them.
When did she first send you the $3,000? On what date?
I don't remember.
Was that in August?
I don't remember the date, ma'am. It may have been.
What was the date?
It was the day of the accident. The day that she ran into me, or when I met her. That afternoon or the next day, she sent me the money and I went and picked it up. Thing is that for me to save her the money that I was trying to get her for $5,000, that repair, because I ended up taking it to one of the body shops that we used and they gave me an estimate because I was going to try to fix the car through them. It was $10,000. She came into me. I felt super bad. She was.
You had the car for 3 months. What did the car look like after 3 months? You had the car and her money.
It looked the same.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
It was in the same condition as when it was towed into your shop.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's outrageous, sir.
Well, the thing is that I was trying to get the parts.
That means you just took her money.
No, ma'am, I was trying.
No, you just took her money. That's really outrageous, sir. That's really outrageous.
Okay, ma'am, I was trying to get the parts. I was trying to save her money. When I saw her, she was...
Try. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You did nothing.
That is correct,
You just took her money.
Your Honor, look, this...
Judgment for the plaintiff and the...
Concluded, parties are excused.
I actually contacted the woman who referred me to the shop, and I said...
I knew what it was going to cost to repair the car, and I just tried to help her out. Things fell through.
I wouldn't even dare to refer anyone to this person.
It was repairable. It's just extensive repair.
And then later to find that my car wasn't worked on at all.
And like I said, we weren't a body shop. We were just an automotive repair shop, so I was just trying to help her out.
Yes, it's going to be fixed. I have to just slowly make payments as I go.
Well, she went to my work and told him that I stole her money. And that was my only source of income.
I'm glad that justice is served.
I was going to pay for it, but I lost my job, so now there's no way of paying it.
All parties in the matter of Gray versus Farrell. Step to the podium, please.
Kathy Gray is suing Jason and Lavetta Farrell after a run-in with their dogs caused Kathy to fall and injure one of her dogs.
Miss Gray, you and your husband and Mr. Farrell and Mrs. Farrell, all four of you were victims of a fire that occurred in Napa Valley sometime last year. Is that correct?
It was this year in August.
August.
Yes.
And both of your families and your pets were relocated to a hotel, and you were staying in the same hotel.
Correct. Sit down.
You, Mrs. Gray, have 3 Shih Tzus, but you had 3 in August.
Correct.
And you have 1 dog, the dog that's with you. And it is your claim that on the 23rd of August, you went out with your 3 Shih Tzus to walk them, and you took your dog out for a walk. You went through the hotel lobby. According to you, at the time you went through the lobby, your dog was on leash. Is that correct? Not an hum is not an answer. Yes is an answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you got outside, did you take your dog off leash?
No, Your Honor.
Is what you're telling me that your dog was on leash when this incident happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Plaintiff says otherwise. I would like you to make sure that what you tell me is true, because I'm not sure whether you are responsible for the vet bills that plaintiff incurred anyway. But it's important to me to have all of the accurate information. Do you understand? This is not a murder trial. Okay. So your dog was, according to you, on leash.
Yes, Your Honor.
And according to you, Miss Gray, your dogs were on leash. You came out of the hotel. Mr. Farrell's dog was not on leash. You had an exchange of words with him. He said something like, my dog is friendly, doesn't bite. And your dogs were excited and barking. That be a fair statement? I'm asking you a question.
They were that way when they saw the defendant's dog, yes.
Yes. They were excited and barking.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I could recreate that situation right now.
Me too.
If I wanted to, which I don't. And what happened is the dogs were sort of running around, your dog, on leash.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Farrell's dog never touched either of your dogs.
No, they did not.
Or you.
No.
Or got within probably 8 feet of you.
Of me or the dogs? Probably 8 feet is probably the distance.
8 feet. I said, didn't get within 8 feet of you or your dogs.
Right.
Your dogs were barking, running around, and you got entangled in their leashes and fell.
No, that's not what happened.
Fell on the dogs.
That isn't what happened.
Did you fall on the dogs?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have to demonstrate how his dog being off leash was the cause of your tripping over your dog. Then
What do you
want to
show me? What do you want to see? First of all, they're lying. Their dog was not on a leash.
Kathy Gray is suing Jason, caused Kathy to fall and injure one of her dogs.
Your dogs were barking, running around, and you got entangled in their leashes and fell.
No, that's
and
not what
fell
happened.
on the dogs.
That isn't what happened.
Did you fall on the dogs?
I did fall on the dogs. I fell back on the dogs after I yanked them behind me. My dogs weren't running around. They were sniffing around to go potty, whatever. He came out of the hotel glass door with his dog off leash. There's bushes in between us and him. He looked at me and said, "Don't worry, she doesn't bite." And I said, "It doesn't matter if she bites or not. My dogs will bark. They're Shih Tzus. They're going to bark." So they barked and they all pulled on my leashes. His dog came through the bushes going, "Arr!" And I yanked them back behind me, and I tripped off the curb that was behind me and landed on all three of them. That's exactly what happened, Your Honor.
Well, you tell me, madam, if his dog didn't come within 8 feet of you, what caused his dog to stop?
Because they noticed each other. My dogs
dogs are very fast. Dogs are very, very fast. If he came out snarling and running towards your dogs, something had to stop him.
My dog,
because he
was
didn't
very
get,
quick.
Because he didn't get.
Can I explain what I do? So this one here. So we're walking from this direction. My dogs were up in here sniffing around. I was standing right here with them on their
Just a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
You were standing where?
I was standing like
Show
right
me where
here.
you were standing.
Probably somewhere around here.
Okay. Somewhere around here is not an answer. Show me where you were standing. It's your picture.
Right here.
Well, first you showed me closer to the curb.
Well, because, I mean, it happened so fast. I was holding their leash. They were sniffing around, and when I yanked them back, I fell off that curb. They came out of this door right here.
And just show me, Miss Gray, I now see where you were standing, and show me where your dogs were sniffing.
All around here.
And don't say anything. Okay, that looks to me about 10 to 12 feet away from you. Were they on retractable leashes or just long leashes?
One
Were they on?
was.
Look, no, just listen to me. Don't say I believe. I want you to think. Were they on retractable leashes or short leashes?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It lunged at us, and it was snarling, and its teeth were showing, and it happened so fast, I just yanked my dogs back, and I fell. And it would not have happened if his dog wasn't there.
I'm not buying.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kathy Gray is suing Jason and Lavetta Farrell after a run-in with their dogs caused Kathy to fall and injure one of her dogs.
That looks to me about 10 to 12 feet away from you. Were they on retractable leashes or just long leashes?
One
Were they on?
was.
Look, no, just listen to me. Don't say I believe. I want you to think. Were they on retractable leashes or short leashes?
I'm trying to remember
I have
because
Shih
we
Tzus,
were
by the way.
I know you do. We were evacuated. We were improvising. So I think I had one of them on retractable leash. I'm trying to remember. Everything was. But if I did, and I don't think I did because I can't yank that one back. So no, and the leashes aren't any longer than 8 feet. I think they're only 6-foot leashes.
That's more than 6 feet away from where you were standing if you tripped back over the curb, which is what you said happened.
Yeah, but I thought you asked me if the dog was within 8 feet of my dogs and me. So they were, it was close.
Just a second. What I'm telling you, where you say you were standing and tripped and fell over that curb, which is what you wrote in your complaint.
Yes.
Your dogs were more than 6 feet away from you.
Well, actually, no, they were in the air.
If they were...
Because tripped.
Oh, okay. He's not responsible for you falling and injuring your dog.
Okay. But I have video of his dog off leash.
His dog is off leash.
Your Honor,
is a bad
I had to go through so much.
Miss Gray, that his dog is off leash is not a good thing. You have to demonstrate how his dog being off leash was the proximate cause of your tripping over your dog.
Definitely
or
the
over
reason
your
why
back.
I fell.
Then
What do you
have
want
to
see?
show me.
What do you want to see?
You
First
say
of all,
you
they're
have,
lying. Their dog was not on a leash. They're lying, and she was there.
I am assuming. I'm assuming that their dog was off leash. I'm assuming that their dog was off leash. You have to show a cause between their dog being off leash and you're falling backwards. Now, what I don't believe is that their dog was off leash and lunged at your dog. Because and the reason I don't believe that is I'm a dog owner. If a dog that's off leash is going to attack 3 little dogs, it doesn't stop cold in its tracks from attacking the little dogs, especially when they're no longer under control of anybody because the person who has control of them is on the floor. Then it would have snapping, as you allege.
It snarled, it lunged at us, and it was snarling, and its teeth were showing, and it happened so fast, I just yanked my dogs back, and I fell. And it would not have happened if his dog wasn't there.
I'm not buying it.
Okay, you're not buying it, but it's true.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I'm not buying it. It doesn't make sense to me. As a dog owner my whole life, I realize that your dogs are Shih Tzus, and you say Shih Tzus bark. Well, I have 3 Shih Tzus. 2 of them bark, 1 of them does not. And they bark at everybody. They bark as soon as they walk in. And the breed is not consistently known as yappers. But your dogs, prior to this case starting, when they walked in, they were the ones that were barking because I was at the bench. They were the ones that went after the defendant's dog. And then you picked them up. I watched that.
Okay.
And then you picked them up.
Okay.
That's what happened.
You're the judge.
Okay, your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
You think it's really funny, don't you? You guys lied.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She collided into my bike, and I had to stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. She said, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school."
Judge Judy.
I think Judge Judy did justice, and regardless of anything, as you could see, we did not have to talk.
Because they're guilty and they lied.
Dog on or off a leash, her dogs were the aggressors.
They lied that their dog was on a leash.
And she wasn't even on a curb when she fell.
Yes, I saw him 3 times that day with your dog off leash.
I actually already handed the dog to her at the hotel entrance, and when I turned around,
because it's a bigger dog, it came at us through the bushes snarling, and so of course I'm gonna protect my dogs and fling him behind me.
The lady says, "I'm really sorry," and got tangled up. She had 1 leash that divided into 3.
It all happened like bam, and yes, when they all noticed each other, my dogs barked.
Got tangled up in her leashes and fell.
It happened so fast, I think I did, but it tripped off the curb.
I was upset about her dog's leg being broken in the middle of it.
And I landed on all 3 dogs.
We did as much as we could. My animal is a service dog. She goes to old folks' home dogs at that point.
And they also told me they were going to pay half the vet bill.
Not at all aggressive.
You did.
I send, my best wishes to her and her dog.
I hope you guys are happy your karma's going to get you.
Did you see her riding the bike?
I did not see her.
A driver who couldn't care less.
She collided into my bike, and I had to stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. She said, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school."
Or a cyclist going against the flow.
You were coming from the opposite direction. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic.
This is Judge Judy. Bicyclist Kalinda Watts is suing motorist Alyssa Mincher for running into her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Judge, this case number 116 on the calendar in the matter of Watts versus Mincher. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, ma'am.
Miss Watts, this accident happened about 2 years ago. According to your complaint, you were riding a bicycle to a campus job that you had. Where do you go to school?
I attended Chico State University.
This incident happened on October what time?
Around 7:51 a.m.
So in the daylight?
Yes.
You were riding your bicycle, and it is your claim that the defendant hit you on the bike. You were injured, wore a knee brace, etc. The defendant says the accident was your fault. So let's try to figure it out, and then we'll try to figure out what took you 2 years to get here. You were riding in the street, correct, with traffic?
Yes, yeah, well...
You were traveling in the street where cars travel, not on the sidewalk.
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you traveling with traffic or against traffic?
I was riding against traffic. At that time, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to, and I was against.
I don't care whether you knew it or not.
Okay.
Whether you knew it is not relevant. You live in California. This incident happened in California. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic. You know that now.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know that now because, according to, I think what I read, you did at some point consult an attorney.
Yes, Your Honor. I did have an attorney, and he gave it to his assistant, which is my paralegal, who is with me today.
You no longer have that attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And I would suggest to you that one of the reasons you don't have that attorney is because it's very difficult, unless you can show some extraordinary reason, like the defendant was doing something that was grossly negligent, that when you're committing an act that is illegal under California law, which is driving against traffic, very hard to prove that somebody else is culpable for an accident. So now you're traveling against traffic. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. According to your complaint, you were coming up to a driveway, the driveway of an apartment complex. So you tell me what happened.
Okay. On my way riding to school in the bike path, I saw a car pulling out of the driveway. At first, I had stopped to make sure that she knew that I was riding my bike. She had made a stop, a complete stop, and while I was riding from her right, she was only looking towards the left side, not looking both ways. So I was trying to make eye contact with her while I was riding my bike, also trying to acknowledge her. I was waving and I kept saying, hey, so she knew that I was approaching. And by the time that I was trying to pass her, she collided into my knee and my bike, and I had to stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. I could have been hit by a truck, correction, I'm sorry.
So it sounds to me like she did everything right. She stopped. She came to a complete stop.
Yes, Your Honor.
She looked to her left to make sure that there were no cars coming to her left so that she could make a right-hand turn. You were coming from the opposite direction, riding the wrong way, and she didn't see you. If you stopped before the driveway, actually stopped before the driveway, you wouldn't have gotten hit. Am I getting something? Is something not registering with me?
No, Your Honor. You're actually correct. All I knew was I was just trying to acknowledge her so she knew that I was coming towards the bike path.
But clearly, I mean, because she doesn't look like a nut job, and she wasn't drunk at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, and she came to a full stop. So you're not suggesting to me, Miss Watts, that you tried to make contact with her. You actually did make contact with her so that she acknowledged that you were there and that you could go, and she accelerated anyway and hit you on purpose. You're not suggesting that to me.
No, Your Honor.
Well, what theory do you have that would suggest to me that she's responsible for this accident? Just because you were on a smaller bike? What's your theory?
No, Your Honor. So,
I mean, you're not a lawyer.
Yes, I am not. The only problem that I had was after she hit me, I didn't, at that time of getting people's information or their insurance, all I asked was when after we collided, she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school. And I told her that I was on my way to school as well, the same campus that we attend at the time. And all she did was give me her number. She put it in my phone, and there was a witness that was there that pulled over and saw the accident at the time. And she got back in her car, gave me my phone, got back in her car, and she just left. I tried to get in contact with her the next day because I told her I didn't want to file a lawsuit. I didn't want to sue her or anything because I was dealing with the physical pain from the handlebars colliding into my rib cage. And I went to the hospital that same day. Just stating about, I just told her once I got in contact with Alyssa at the time, I told her, all I want is for you to just pay for the medical bills. That's it. I didn't want anything else. I didn't want to press charges. When I told my family, they told me it was best that I got her insurance information because that's what you're supposed to do when you get into an accident. So she just kept denying and didn't want to give me her insurance. And I told her, like, once again, I don't want to sue you. I don't want to press charges. I just want your insurance information because that's the protocol that we're supposed to do. And I kept calling her. She did not answer and was ignoring my calls. I sent her a text message that on the 19th, just reinstating that I didn't want to sue or do anything. All I wanted was her insurance information. And she still never responded.
What did you want? Just a second. Just a second. She should have given you her insurance information, except the accident was your fault. I mean, protocol was she should have given you her insurance. But according to what you told me, Miss Watts, according to your testimony and what I read in the complaint, the accident was your fault. You were driving illegally on the wrong side of the street. She came to a full stop at her parking lot and didn't see you traveling the wrong side of the street. And as you said, the two of you collided. Now, let us assume that you were not hurt and you didn't have sore ribs and you didn't have a sore knee for a few weeks. Let's say you were not hurt at all, but your bicycle scratched up her car and she had a counterclaim that your bicycle scratched her car. I would dismiss your lawsuit and grant her counterclaim because the accident was your fault. The fact that you were hurt is sad, but irrelevant to the fact that the accident was your fault. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. You now know, and the attorney that you spoke to told you that direction of traffic, and it's illegal to do so otherwise. So, and I'm sure the attorney told you that.
Yes, Your Honor, and I take full responsibility.
Well, if you do, then you understand that I'm dismissing your lawsuit. Just because there's an accident and somebody gets hurt, it doesn't mean that it's somebody else's fault. Now, there's no question, Miss Mincher, that you should have given her your insurance information because that's up to other people to make a judgment like I'm doing today. Did you have insurance on your car?
I did, yes.
In October of 2018?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What make and model car do you have?
At the time, it was a 1995, let's see. It was a 1995 Buick. It was a white vehicle. I'm not too sure what model it is.
Okay, Miss Mincher. The plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you use the same bicycle that you had used the day before?
No, Your Honor. Ever since that accident, I've never touched my bike again.
And later today,
I want to know where June's rent was.
Where June's rent was?
Yeah, didn't you pay it?
bicyclist Kalinda Watts says she was injured after motorist Alyssa Mincher collided with her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Now, the plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
No.
In the opposite direction of traffic?
I did not see her.
Before the accident occurred?
I did not see her.
Did you continue to your job that day?
No, Your Honor. I sat in the parking lot waiting for my supervisor at the time to come pick me up, and she took me home.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And did you use the same bicycle that you had used the day before?
No, Your Honor. Ever since that accident, I've never touched my bike again.
How did you get to your job?
I started taking the local bus.
Smart. Where is the bicycle? Where was it in October, November? Did you sell it? Give it away?
No, Your Honor. I had left it parked at the apartment complex that I lived in at that time.
You left it there, and you moved and left it there?
Yes, but I ended up getting rid of it, yes, Your Honor. I didn't sell it.
How did you get rid of it?
Selling it with my own financial problems. So I just gave certain parts away. The tires, they were already flat from the accident, so I just threw what I could away that was left over.
Okay. All right, fine. Ms. Watts, I'm glad I could finally give you a little bit of closure. I know that you probably had a little bit of it through your attorney. No, you have the paralegal here. I don't need the paralegal. It's clear that not every accident that has an injury results in an award of damages. There has to be a demonstration that the person who was the cause of that accident. In this case, she was not the cause of the accident. You were. Unfortunately, you got hurt. But I'm glad you're better and moved on. So your case is dismissed and we're finished. Thank you. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I take full responsibility of my actions.
All I remember from it was I was about to turn. I saw a flash in front of me.
Yes, I did go to the hospital.
And I stopped immediately, and I know that it was her fault, but I felt really bad.
I've dealt with depression, anxiety, PTSD from that. I went to counseling for a whole year just trying to process that.
I immediately went out to try and help her up, and then she told me to get back into the parking lot, and I did so and continued to try and help her out.
Still haven't ridden a bike yet.
I'm glad that we've gotten closure and I don't have to deal with this anymore. It's been 2 years.
I take full responsibility of my actions, so, getting a resolution and just being able to have an understanding of, what went down. I'm just honored to even be here, so.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Keffer versus Aragon, step forward.
24-year-old Jenny Keffer is suing her former roommate, 25-year-old Amber Aragon, for unpaid rent after she broke their lease and moved in with her boyfriend.
All right, Miss Aragon, I'm going to start with you. You and the plaintiff rented an apartment together. You had a lease on the apartment. It was just the two of you on the lease. So far, is that correct?
Yes.
And when did you sign that lease?
I think it was the end of December.
2012?
Yes, I believe so.
Don't ask me. It's not a question. When did you sign the lease?
January 1st, 2013.
And it was a one-year lease?
No, it was a 6-month lease.
When did you move out?
May 20th.
So you moved out prior to the termination of the lease because, according to you, you couldn't afford to pay the rent anymore.
Yes.
Ms. Keffer was able to find somebody for the month of June to come in. She says that the person who she found to come in was prepared to pick up a portion of your rent for the month of June. So she was trying to limit your portion of the rent that was not covered by this roommate that she found on a short-term lease, which was $350 and a $50 late fee, because she said that you were really supposed to pay that rent to the rental office. You didn't, so she had to pay $400. Can I see the check for $400?
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to say to me, Miss Aragon?
Yes, I had every intention of paying the $350, but Jenny was withholding a workers' comp check. I was involved in a bad car accident on April 30th. I expressed to Jenny, I came to her and told her that I was having financial difficulties because of the car accident.
I heard that you were having financial difficulties. You still owe the $350.
Exactly.
By the way, the check here is just for $350, not a $50 late fee, so it's $350.
Exactly.
So did you move out?
I moved out on May 20th.
Did you pay the $350?
I did not, because she was withholding my workers' comp check. I had no money. I had
Just a second. How could she be withholding it if you moved out in May?
Well, I have that it was issued June 13th, and then it had to be reissued again because I had to put a void on the check. So.
I want to know where June's rent was.
Where June's rent was?
Yeah, you were supposed to pay $350 for June. Why didn't you pay it?
Judge Judy.
The new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it.
No, she didn't. No, dear. You are incorrect.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jenny Keffer says her ex-roommate, Amber Aragon, broke their lease. Amber is countersuing for the return of her security deposit.
Now, Miss Aragon, did you pay the $350?
I did not, because she was withholding my workers' comp check.
Your workman's comp check wasn't issued until June 13th. Rent is due the 1st of the month. And I'm asking you, do you have any reason, just reason, why you didn't pay on the 1st of June the $350?
Because I didn't have the financial means.
That's the answer. It's not because she was withholding your mail, because the check wasn't issued until after the rent was due. Right?
I understand, yes.
Okay, so that's part of your counterclaim. But the reason you didn't pay her is not because she was withholding your mail. The reason you didn't pay her is because you say you didn't have the money, right?
Well, because she was withholding the check. It was just reissued after the fact.
On what date did she say, I'm withholding your check until you pay me my money?
Can I?
Look, give me the date.
On June 8th.
That's the 8th. And when is rent due?
On the 1st.
Skipped out on June's rent. And when you skipped out on June's rent, where did you go?
I went to...
Where did you go to live?
At my boyfriend's
Right.
apartment.
You went to live with your boyfriend. So you owe her $350. Now, the only issue that I have with you actually, her counterclaim, the rest of the stuff is nonsense. Does she have a security deposit with you?
Well, it rolled over. She forfeited the security deposit when she signed her name off the lease.
Do you have a piece of paper saying that she forfeited her security deposit when she signed her name off the lease?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
This is her signing her name off the lease.
I just want to see that it says she forfeits her security deposit. It says the security deposit will be retained by the landlord until possession of the property is returned to the landlord. Have you done that?
No, I still live there.
Still live there?
So I didn't get any security deposit back.
Just a second. When was your lease up?
July 1st.
Well, why are you still living there?
Because the new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it.
No, she didn't. No, dear. You are incorrect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Kate. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, just because you and your new roommate decided to stay on in the premises, her obligation under that lease would have terminated automatically. So you have to return her security deposit. How much did she put into the security deposit?
It was $580, and we split it. And then there's a $120 cleaning fee that the apartment automatically takes out when the lease is up. So 580 minus 120 is 460.
No. She owes you $100. You have a security deposit, you're going to get it back. Keep the apartment nice and clean. Anything else?
There's nothing as far as regarding the fact that she was withholding my check, and I was late on bills and everything like that because she was withholding my workers' comp check.
When did you finally get the check?
It was issued on June 13th. It came probably like 3 or 4 days after that.
So you got it within 3 days?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that much trouble because you were living with your boyfriend, right?
Well, I still have to pay rent with my boyfriend.
How much rent did you have to pay with your boyfriend?
I had to pay $500.
I don't believe anything. Okay. You owe her $100. That's all. Thank you.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy. Judge Judy.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
You gave him a credit card, then you gave him another card. That's not smart.
My bad.
Judge Judy.
I don't agree with the fact that I have to give her security deposit back because we never even discussed it.
I don't think that she was necessarily telling the complete truth.
I did her a favor and I found someone to take over her half of the rent, and she still couldn't afford to pay it.
I couldn't afford it because I got in a car accident. I didn't know exactly what my financial situation was going to be like.
She tried to find someone off Craigslist, but I am not about to live with some sketchy person off Craigslist.
I did look on Craigslist. I did ask around and see if anybody that I knew would be able to just basically take over the complete portion of the rent.
What friendship? We're not friends.
I don't know. It was kind of out of my hands, considering I got in a car accident. I couldn't afford it. So maybe drive careful.
Choose your roommates wisely.
How did you find each other?
It was through a dating app.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
He gave him a credit card. He thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort.
Like what she sees.
Then you gave him another card. I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but you know, you're a smart lady. That's not smart.
My bad.
This is Judge Judy. Julie Bossert is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Judge, this is case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Bossard versus Baker. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Baker, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes.
You met the plaintiff online, is that right?
Correct.
How?
Through a series of messages. We messaged each other. I was working in her neck of the woods.
Well, how did you message each other? How did you find each other? That had to be a site
it was through a dating app.
What app?
Plenty of Fish.
And in what month did you first connect on this dating app?
I think it was March 2020.
And how far away did you live from each other?
I'm about 300 miles.
When, for the first time, did you meet in person?
I don't have the exact date, but it was late March, probably March 20th-ish.
Did you go to where she resided, or did she come to where you resided?
Actually, she was a hairstylist, and during COVID, haircuts were illegal, and my hair give you a cut if you wanted to come over to my salon. So I went to her salon, and
well, that's 300 miles, sir.
oh no, I was working.
Asking you.
Mm-hmm. I was working in the area at the time.
Oh.
Yep.
What kind of work do you do?
At that time, I was selling walk-through bathtubs, sales, in-home sales.
Well, you were now 300 miles away from your home. Where were you staying?
I stayed, there was an Airbnb in Spokane that was probably 20 minutes from Post Falls, where Julie lived, where the hair salon was.
How long did you stay at this Airbnb?
February 1st to, I used it, I still use it, I still go there. I've been using it. The first time I went there was February 1st of 2020.
So that you used it for what purpose? For selling walk-through bathtubs?
Yeah, I have certain appointments that I have to be on throughout the state of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon.
For selling
yes, ma'am.
Through bathtubs?
Yes, ma'am.
So you work for a company?
Yep, in-home sales.
What's the name of the company?
Safe Step.
Are you a salaried or a commissioned employee?
Commission only.
How long have you been with them?
I started January 1st, did training. Actually, might have even been right at January 1st. I think I was out of training around January 11th by trade, and definitely preferred the in-home sales side of it. When I get into someone's home, it's just second nature to me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Then it's way more lucrative.
Prior to that, you were in general contracting. Did you work for somebody else, or did you do that yourself?
Mostly self-employed since right out of high school.
How old are you?
49.
Well, you're a grown-up, sir. You're almost a half a century old. So you were doing, until January of this year, you were doing what?
We would do...
Until you got this training job with walk-through bathtubs.
Right.
You were doing what to support yourself?
We were doing large remodels.
Were you ever...
Bathrooms.
Who was we?
Me and a team of guys that I've known for the last 20, 30 years. Some new ones, some old ones.
Have you ever been married?
I was.
Do you have children?
2 boys.
How old?
25 and 23.
Did you live with them when they were growing up?
I would never be apart from them. They were my everything.
That's not my question. I said, did you live with them when they were growing up? Is your former wife the mother of those children?
Yes.
And when were you divorced?
It was legal in 2011.
Separated prior to 2011?
Correct. It started in 2009, but we had a $5.5 million bankruptcy that we had to file, and that took a few years to get accomplished.
During that time, did you live together from 2009 until 2011?
2010 is when I moved from the home.
Did the boys stay in the home?
They did.
So that one boy was 13 and one boy was 15?
Correct.
And they lived with their mother?
Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of business were you in that involved, I assume, personal $5 million bankruptcy?
We were a developer and general contractor. We had 70 lots, 18...
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
And were you relieved of debt in the bankruptcy filing?
It was a Chapter 13, yes. There was still some debt that I felt that I still owe even after the bankruptcy.
What did you use the plaintiff's credit card for? She gave you, shortly after you met, a credit card that had a zero balance.
Right.
What did you use it for? Because you were the sole person who used it.
Correct.
What did you use it for?
We used it for a few supplies and took that card back to do another card that had a $10,000 balance on it. And so I paid off the first card that she had given me. She paid it. I paid her to pay it.
What did you put on that card?
We bought supplies.
What did you put on the first card?
Supplies.
Supplies for what?
For a job.
For what?
That we currently had going on in the city of Newport, Washington. There was a small amount of supplies.
Shh. You mean you and the plaintiff?
No, that was just me.
So you bought supplies for your own business.
Correct.
For your own business.
Right.
Not walk through bathtubs on commission. You were doing a side job, something else, with your own business having nothing to do with her, and you used her credit card for some supplies. How much? How much?
The supplies may have totaled $1,500 to $1,800.
Did you pay it off that card?
I did pay off that card.
Did he pay off that card?
I made a decision to take money he gave me to pay off that card, along with other money he gave me to put towards the other card.
Okay, so he gave you money and you paid off that card.
Correct.
Then you gave him another card. In what month?
Well, it was the
What month?
It was the same month. My bad.
Well, so tell me what month?
May.
So you met, when you met, according to you, you said wasn't a romantic thing for either one or both of you. I'm not so sure about you, but I could tell you for sure about him. It wasn't a romantic thing for him. So at some point, what kind of work do you do, by the way?
I am a salon owner, and I still work behind the chair.
So you work hard for your money?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
assume.
I've had my business for 20 years.
Now, I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but, you know, you're a smart lady. If you're a business owner for 20 years, you're a smart lady. You meet a guy the end of March, and by May, you're giving him a credit card. That's not smart.
Well, there were prior things that happened to me giving him the card. I was under the impression that we were going into the sewer business together. And as a part of doing business, supplies...
Why in the world would you want to go into the sewer business together with somebody that you met online, that came for a haircut, and a couple of weeks later said, I need a credit card because I'll go into business with you. Right now, I just finished my training in walk-through bathtub sales. I've been through a bankruptcy, a $5 million bankruptcy with my ex-wife who had a business. Why would a smart lady who's run a business for 20 years give a credit card to anybody? I have grandchildren that I love more than life. I will give them anything they want except a credit card of mine. A finite amount of money? You want $500? Tell me what it's for, it's yours. You need more? Tell me what it's for. It's yours. If it's reasonable. I wouldn't give somebody a credit card. You give some stranger who you know nothing about, and you're a business gal. I'm a hardworking business guy. I don't understand it. So you're going to have to explain it to me, because according to you, you gave him a credit card. You know, he thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before. I assume he has over the last 10 years or even more when he was married. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift. Has that air, because no guy that didn't think that about himself would ask somebody and use their credit card and then stiff them, which is what you did. Which is what you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500.
Who cares what you spent?
And later today.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, stressed right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
Julie Bossard is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Now, you used her credit card, and then you stiffed her. That's what you say.
Not true.
So in order to do that, you really have to... Really? Not? Did you use her credit card and buy equipment?
Oh, I made payments.
Did you buy equipment?
I did, and I made payments.
Did you pay off... Just a second. Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own and still have possession of? Very easy question. Did you pay off everything that was purchased that you still have possession of?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
Well, I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500 on replacing the tractor.
Who cares what you spent? I don't care about a tractor trailer. She bought a tractor trailer. You weren't in business with her. She got annoyed that you hadn't paid the credit card. She took back the tractor trailer that was in her name. So I don't care.
Okay.
You used the tractor trailer while you had it. Who cares? What I'm asking you, sir, is do you have equipment in your possession that was purchased for?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
She's going to get it all back. I'm going to sign an order for a marshal to come and get the following equipment. Read it out.
The following equipment.
What equipment is going to be picked up with the aid of a marshal?
It is a jetter and a sewer camera.
How much was it just for my jetter and sewer camera?
The Seattle pump was $2108.25, and the camera was $3423.80.
Well, that's $5,000 worth of stuff, $5,600 worth of stuff.
Correct.
Great. Where is it located?
City of Sumner.
What facility?
My home base. My home.
What facility? It has a name.
Well, we call
Apex Storage.
It's my
What is
primary residence. Do you want the address?
Is this equipment at your residence? I have to give the marshal a location to pick it up.
1 Valley Avenue East.
Is that where he lives?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a marshal's order. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're done. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
There was an agreement that we had made.
I put my trust into somebody that had no intention of protecting me at all whatsoever.
She simply bowed out of the agreement.
Focus was on anything but our business.
This is icing on the cake for her.
He never continued on with the business to pursue it.
I see her point of view.
He was on to pole barns. He was wanting me to give him $20,000 for property to invest in a wedding venue.
We certainly had a lot of conversations.
I get up every day and I work really hard for my money.
She is a hard worker. She's done well for herself, and wish her nothing but the best.
Oh, I'm just going to keep on. This is 1 out of 4 with him.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Labrie versus Taub, step forward.
Sandra Nicole Labrie is suing her former roommate, Jonathan Taub, for the return of her property, motel bills, and punitive damages due to a false arrest.
Miss Labrie, what kind of work do you do?
I'm in
it's not an answer. Don't look down here. Look right here. What
I'm
kind
an
of work
artist,
do you do?
Entertainment, music, and
You're
I do
an
side
artist in
catering.
entertainment and music.
Yes, and I
Where do you work?
I do side catering.
You do side catering. What does that mean?
Side catering means like if a person need me to cook them anything, I can prepare a dish for them.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that
under
mean?
a lot of
Right now,
stress. I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to regroup my life.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Nicole Labrie says former roommate Jonathan Taub won't return her property. She is also suing for motel bills and a false arrest.
I want to know how you support yourself.
Friends.
Friends.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Okay.
And where do you live? In what jurisdiction do you live?
Right now, I'm living in Century City.
Century City?
Yes.
That's pretty expensive territory.
In a motel.
You must have nice friends.
Well, I had savings.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Taub?
Swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment.
What does that mean, swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment?
I repair them, install them.
You have a company?
Yeah, I work for...
No. You have a company.
Yes. I work for other people, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed for
What's
many
the name
people.
of your company?
Jonathan's Pool Service.
And are you a corporation?
No. Sole proprietorship.
So people pay you...
Management companies, things like that. I have a website, Google, 1099. Once in a while I might get paid in cash, but it's 1099 most of it.
Okay, this is your claim. He took you in as a roommate.
Yes.
You were supposed to pay rent.
Yes.
He came up short most of the time on your rent. That's what he says. You came up short on your rent.
I don't think so.
At some point, according to you, you had a disagreement with him. You had to go to the hospital and spend 3 days in the hospital because you had an asthma attack.
Yes.
And then when you came out of the hospital, he had taken all of your stuff, put it in storage, locked you out.
Mm-hmm.
The police, according to you, told you you could break into the house, right?
Yes.
Police said you can break in through the glass door in the back.
They weren't getting into it.
No, according to you, the police told
Yes.
you to break into the house,
Yes.
is what I'm saying. That's what you
Yes.
say here. And so you broke into the house, then there was a big argument because he came home, found you in the house. What?
I called the locksmith right here, a locksmith.
Yes.
The police said they weren't getting involved. It was a civil matter.
Yes.
Do whatever I had to do. So I called the locksmith.
Yeah.
Because I was like from a hospital bed to a jail cell the same day.
Okay. When he came home, he found you in the house. There was an altercation. The police were called. He told the police that you were ultimately released a couple of days later. So you're suing for a host of things, $5,000 for stolen property, for your motel bills, for punitive damages due to false arrest.
Yes.
And you say she didn't pay rent.
Yes. The thing, I had to press charges because if I left her there, she might damage my property. If I were to stay there, she kept taunting me.
How was she taunting you?
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her? Let's go back for one second. Yeah, how'd you meet her? And when?
Years ago.
Years ago where?
Online, probably Craigslist.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Does she have her stuff back now?
I put everything in storage.
Does she have her stuff back now is my question.
I don't know. I haven't been in storage.
Is her stuff in storage?
Yes.
Great. And you haven't been there because
I'm locked out.
Listen to me. Try to clear your mind for a second. Have you been there?
Yes.
And you can't get in?
I can't.
Great. Well, he's going to let you in. You can take all your stuff.
No, she's...
You're going to let her in. You just told me her stuff was in storage. You're going to let her into storage.
She
take
has
her
the key.
stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? Follow my words. I don't believe either one of you, actually, so I'm going to get rid of this case very fast. Do you know why I don't believe either one of you? Because you're both full of baloney.
No,
so listen to me very carefully. If you told me her stuff is in storage, then she's going to go and get her stuff from storage. No. And then the case is over. You don't have a counterclaim. He's not responsible for your motel bill.
Your Honor.
He's not responsible for your motel bill.
I can't get in storage because it's past due.
Bye.
Really?
Really?
I'll just excuse you and step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, her mother-in-law stands behind her son.
She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not.
I will, as soon as I get home. I left the house due to domestic violence.
Judge Judy.
I probably would have let her stay there. She just said, hey, I don't have the money. Can you help me out?
Oh, God, I paid him rent.
But she wasn't like that. She was taunting me.
He owed me, like, for damaging my property, like 20 grand.
If you're a good little boy, maybe I'll pay.
Inhaler.
I didn't take her medication, but...
Well, he was hoping I would die.
I'll admit I was hoping at one point that she would die because I was angry.
And I just don't want to discuss it.
I just learned probably what it's like to be married, you know? No sex and lots of money out of your pocket.
A wife finally had enough.
Does your husband have a lawyer in the divorce?
He don't even know I'm filing for the divorce. I haven't spoken with him since I left.
But her mother-in-law...
You were living with your son and his wife?
Yes.
...stands behind her son.
Your Honor, she's not filing for a divorce. She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not.
I will, as soon as I get home. I left the house due to domestic violence.
This is Judge Judy. Calvina Zeno is suing her estranged mother-in-law, Regina Marzette, for the value of a Samsung tablet and unauthorized charges made on a joint bank account.
Judge's case number 99 on the calendar in the matter of Zeno versus Marzette. Parties have been sworn in.
Miss Zeno, you are still currently married to the defendant's son.
Yes.
When were you married?
2007.
When did you and the defendant's son separate out?
I left the house due to domestic violence.
It's your claim that you left behind a tablet, a Samsung tablet, and that the defendant at one point said she didn't have it, but then she did, in fact, have it and used it once, according to you. Where is the tablet now?
She has it.
Did you find her tablet?
I had seen it. She had left the tablet there. I never used it or have it. And she came back to the house 3 or 4 times.
Where is it?
I believe it got stolen. My son had left it outside on the gate to go in the apartment, and he came back, the bag was gone.
Was he living with you?
I was living with them.
Okay. She doesn't have your tablet.
I never used it.
From 2 years ago. Now, you have a counterclaim. A counterclaim is money owed for credit card charges.
Yes.
I assume these credit card charges were made prior to 2018, were made when you were living with your son and his wife?
Yes. We had it was around 2016. I let her start using it, put on the authorized user, and we had agreement. As long as she paid it, I didn't care what she used it for or whatever. As long as she made monthly payments on it. In May of this year, she stopped making payment. Then she made 2 more payments though. She stopped because I used it. We also had a bank account together, Wells Fargo, and I accidentally dollars, and so she closed the account, and I didn't know until I tried to use it, and then I texted her saying the account is closed. She said, yeah, I closed it because you made $35 charge on it and went over her account.
We're not getting involved in this.
Okay, that's when she stopped, and then she
fiasco that happened in 2018.
But she was making payments up to this year, and then I'm telling you the reason why she stopped it first. Because I used the card that she was making the payment up for with the credit card payment with, and the account went over, and she closed the account. And then, but then
do you have a lawyer in your divorce?
No.
Does your husband have a lawyer in the divorce?
No, I'm the one that's filing for the divorce. I have to turn in my paperwork. He don't even know I'm filing for the divorce.
Okay.
I haven't spoke with him since I left.
Okay. Does your husband work?
I'm not sure. I don't communicate with him anymore.
Your mother-in-law says that you had an individual agreement with her to use a credit card prior to 2018. What was that credit card used for?
The card was used for her son charges. I also made charges on the card. I used it for my guard card, which I believe is paid off. Like she said, I've been paying it since the card been on there, but our card got towed a few times. Security guard card, license.
Okay, and how much was that for the guard license?
I want to say about $800.
I mean, of how much a month on the card?
$150.
Do you have the credit card receipts or the bills that show how much she was making payments on? I'd like to take a look at them.
I'd like to show you this. This one I stop her from using it, showing the balance. When I stop her from authorized to use it because when it went over $5,000.
Who else is an authorized user on that card?
No one else. I didn't even use it, Your Honor. I make no charges on it.
Prior to 2018?
I have never used that card myself.
Not you.
No one else, Your Honor, used the card. Not even me.
Do you have a card?
I have other cards. That's why I only set that aside for her to use. For I wouldn't have no disagreement with the charges.
Tell me what you used the card for before 2018.
All I can remember is using it for is my guard card and to get the cars towed out because he kept getting our cars towed. So we had to, she said for emergencies and we used it to get it towed out, but I continue to make the payments. That's why I don't understand why she's saying that it went over $5,000. Last time I seen it was at $4,800, and that was years ago.
Your Honor,
I don't understand. I never seen the statement, so I have no clue what's on there. I don't know who used the card.
I have statements she used it for her car insurance monthly.
Just a second. On September 17th bill?
No, all my car insurance bills was paid on my bank account.
I don't have Progressive, Your Honor. This is all her charges and the wireless phone.
What year did you say was it, ma'am?
September 17th.
2008. This 2000.
Did you pay?
In 2018?
Yes, it was 2018.
No, in 2020.
No, this is 2018 right here. This one she was still...
Listen to me. This is a marital debt. These bills were accrued prior to the time that your son and
But our agreement was, I had agreement with her. As long as she pay on it, it's like...
What I'm telling you, it is a marital debt. Some judge, when she files for divorce, is going to determine whether this credit card...
Your Honor, she's not filing for a divorce. She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not.
I have the paperwork at home.
She's not.
Well, I think that you should do that.
I will.
Because...
As soon as I get home.
Because I'm dismissing her counterclaim without prejudice. You have to file for a divorce so a judge can determine how much of this bill is a marital debt and whether your husband, her son, is responsible for any part of that bill. Like if a car was towed and it was his responsibility, but it was paid for on this card. I don't know, and I have absolutely zero interest in finding out, because when you file for divorce, one equities of the parties and what they have, and say this car payment, this bank account, this credit card bill, this is either marital property or individual property. And if those charges were made prior to 2018, some judge in a matrimonial part is going to determine that they're marital property, marital debt, which means that your son may be responsible for some, all, or none of that debt. Do you understand? Okay.
Yes, but...
Well, I understand. And I'm the only one who has to understand. Goodbye, good luck, have a happy life.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
To build up her credit.
She wanted to help me build my credit.
She didn't have credit at the time.
I wasn't the only one to make the charges on the card.
I still love her, but she went on with her life, so I let her be.
It's time to file them divorce papers.
All parties in the matter of Lyons versus Munoz. Step to the podium, please.
Phillips Lyons Jr. is suing his former landlord, Inez Munoz, and her daughter, Roxana Munoz, for wrongful eviction, the return of his security deposit, and damaged property.
Mr. Lyons, you were a tenant of the defendants for 3 years.
Yes.
And you had a security deposit of $1,400.
Yes.
With the defendant. Your complaint seeks the return of the entire $100. She retained $900 of the security deposit.
Yes.
In addition, you're asking for other money for a whole lot of nonsense. Damaged property as a result of a pipe burst in February of 2020. You didn't move out until July. I assume the damaged property that you're referring to is the damaged property as a result of the pipe bursting.
No.
What damaged property as a result of what?
The roof leaking. There was heavy rainfall at the end of 2019, beginning of this year, that ruined our furniture, causing mold in the house. There was water throughout the house, damaging the furnace.
Okay, I get Mr. Lyons, understand this, sir. You're a renter. If there's a leak or a burst pipe and your stuff is damaged, that's what renter's insurance is for. That's what homeowner's insurance is for. Yeah. That's not what this nonsense is. That's why I'm saying there's a whole bunch of stuff here that's nonsense. You want the return of your security deposit. You also put in a claim here for wrongful eviction. But I read your complaint, and I read in your complaint that you gave her a 30-day notice on July 21st.
Yes.
You gave her notice. She didn't evict you. You gave her notice that you were moving out. Where did you move to?
Long Beach.
Who did you move in with?
My witness.
Good. And had you been noticed on July 21st?
Yes.
That you were moving in with a new roommate? Yes, so she didn't evict you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that all your junk out there? Sir.
The property damage,
Is
yes.
that all your junk out there?
Yes.
That's not property damage stuff. That's stuff you didn't want. There's a broom there. That's ridiculous.
Phillips Lyons Jr. is suing his former landlord, Inez Munoz, and her daughter, Roxana Munoz, for wrongful eviction, the return of his security deposit, and damaged property.
Okay, now let's talk about the return of the security deposit. Then the burden's on her. You had $1,400 of his security deposit. You returned $5. It's your responsibility to show me photographs of why you retained $900 of his security deposit.
Okay, $200 for the trash that was left in the curb. I have pictures.
Oh, so you have pictures and a bill or a receipt?
Yes.
For who you paid to get rid of it?
Yes.
Good. I'd like to see the photographs and the bill.
Is that okay? The next one?
Yes, well, that's not $200 worth of trash. Oh. Is that all your junk out there? Sir.
The property damage,
Is
yes.
that all your junk out there?
Yes.
That's not property damage stuff. That's stuff you didn't want. There's a broom there. That's ridiculous. Okay, so $200. Can I see the bill for removing all that trash?
There's going to be 2 bills, okay, for the cleaning.
Yes, I'd like to see them both. That says cleanup.
Yeah, it's $200 for the cleaning the curb and $200 to clean the apartment.
Okay, so $200 for cleaning the curb.
Yes.
Now, I didn't see pictures of inside the apartment. What are you alleging was wrong inside the apartment? So you do understand you owe her. She rightfully withheld $200 so far for cleaning up the trash that you left outside.
I don't
well,
agree
I'm telling
to that.
you do. Okay. I don't care whether you agree to it or not. That's your trash to get rid of, not somebody else's. What is that?
Okay, these are the boxes, the refrigerator boxes where you keep your vegetables. That's one of them. Fungus.
Okay, what else?
This is the kitchen counter.
Well, I don't know what is on there.
What
are you showing me?
They're stains. The stains, I don't know if you can see, it's a yellow, very deep yellow.
Very sticky, with lack of cleaning.
What else?
This is...
what color is it? Is it white?
The shelf is black, but this is a white stuff.
Stains. There's stains on the black.
What else? Did you take pictures, Mr. Lyons, of when you left the house?
Yes.
Did you take photographs? May I see them, please? Don't show me anymore. What is that?
Those are the pictures of the mold and whatnot growing in the bedroom.
No, I just want,
like that.
I want to see, sir. Is this how you left the apartment? I just want to see if you left it clean. Is what I'm not looking at your mold. I'm finished with your mold. Get homeowners insurance.
Okay.
Looks like he left the inside pretty clean.
And that's one.
Go ahead. Keep going. Is that when you left, sir?
Yes.
Go ahead. What are you showing me?
Of the kitchen cabinets. That's just one of the kitchen cabinets.
If they were cleaned out?
Mm-hmm. They were clean. There wasn't anything in them. That's the bathroom.
Okay. Got it. All right, Mr. Lyons, I don't have to see anymore. Okay. When Mr. Lyons left, he left in... Did you leave in August, sir?
August 1st.
You left August 1st. When did you re-rent the apartment?
September 3rd. September 3rd. It took me a month to clean.
No, it didn't take you a month to clean.
No, not to clean.
You have to clean. He was living...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me, sir. She didn't wrongfully evict you. You gave her notice. You had a kerfuffle about the date because you were sleeping. You don't get up until 2 o'clock. Then she called you. She wanted her rent. I'm not interested.
And later today.
You say I abandoned them. I was just miserable with humiliation, so I left them there.
Well, who would want those things back after she had been with some other guy and
I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't, but maybe Bird would.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Phillips Lyons Jr. is suing his former landlord, Inez Munoz, and her daughter, Roxana Munoz, for wrongful eviction, the return of his security deposit, and damaged property.
Okay. He left August 1st. You paid $200 to take away his trash, which you shouldn't have left there. That's really your job, to hire somebody to take away all your garbage.
I did. She had told me that when she took those pictures and stuff of the place and the trash, she's like, these needs to be cleaned up. And she's like, you need to come back after she had wrongfully evicted us. And I had told her, I was like...
She didn't wrongfully evict you.
Well, the agreement was for us to be out on the 21st. And on the
I don't... Listen to me. Listen to me, sir. She didn't wrongfully evict you. You gave her notice. You don't get up until 2 o'clock, according to you, to go to work. And she called you. She wanted her rent. I'm not interested.
I have a proof.
I just asked you about the trash that you left behind. I'm just asking you, are you telling me that you paid to have it taken away?
Yes, I had it arranged. I had the city to come on that same week to come get it. And Roxanne knows about this because I had told her, said, okay. And then she's like, no, I'm not waiting that long. And then she got it taken care of herself. And I had let her know via text.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. So far, you're entitled to your $700 back of the $900. She paid $200 to have somebody clean up that junk that you left outside. The apartment looked pretty clean to me. And if you were lucky enough to have the apartment vacant only for 1 month, and Mr. Lyons was living there for 3 years, you have to paint the place anyway. You have to get it into shape. You can't rent it again right away. You know that.
Right.
Ridiculous. Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're finished.
Your Honor?
Thank you.
Your Honor?
We are finito.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Got sick because of the mold.
The way it was delivered to them and the way it was delivered back.
We told her about it, and she told us to clean it ourselves.
Not to be nice anymore.
Not to be so nice. They always paid late.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of law
is suing her ex-boyfriend, Chris Draper, for an unpaid loan to get his truck fixed.
Miss Lauder, you claim that the defendant owes you for the balance of a loan to repair his truck.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
Back in July, at the end of July, his truck broke down and he needed to...
That would be July of 2012.
Yes. He needed money to repair it and he didn't have money. So he asked me to loan him $900 so he could fix his truck. And he promised...
And why would he ask you to make a loan to him?
He knew that I'd gotten money. My mom passed away back in 2011 and she left me some money. And so he asked me if he could borrow that money.
Were you dating at the time?
At the time I loaned him the money, we were not dating.
When had you stopped dating?
We'd broken up at the beginning of July of 2012.
On what date did you ask her for this money?
I'd never asked her for
Are
the
your
money.
hands in your pockets?
Yeah. She offered me the money.
No. You can't offer somebody money unless they know that you need money. Listen to me, I want you to follow. If I called Bird and we're talking and I say, you know, I have this truck that needs repair and I don't have any money, and Bird says to me, oh, I can help you out with that. That's understandable. But somehow it has to be communicated to Bird that my truck broke down.
Judge Judy continues. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you receive a call from the truck company?
No, ma'am.
So you received a call from the truck company at your house?
No, I was at her house when it was on my cell phone.
So you were at her house when you got a call and you say, bring, hello, right, got it?
I said, oh no, what am I gonna do? I need some money. She's like, I'll give you money.
Oh, great.
Because I got money from...
How much does he owe you? That sounds so ridiculous.
I borrowed him $900.
No, you didn't borrow him
Loaned
anything.
him $900, and he paid me back $100.
Okay, good. Now we have a counterclaim, so that takes care of the $800 that you owe her. Now you have a counterclaim, and you said, I purchased a washing machine, a couch, a recliner, a TV, and a desk, and I didn't take these items with me because I just left the house. So?
We had broken up.
Just a second, you said you left, and you said, I didn't take these items with me because I just left the house we shared after humiliation I endured when I found out that she had been cheating on me for almost a year. So what are you countersuing for?
For the things that I left at her house.
You say, I left them there because I was just miserable with humiliation, so I left them there a year ago.
Well, who would want those things back after she had been with some other guy and
I
on
don't
those
know.
things?
Maybe I wouldn't, but maybe Bird would. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Goodbye.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. Made to move in the middle of the virus.
I didn't evict anyone. I put a pay or vacate, which is different from eviction.
I don't think that you can do that.
Next Judge Judy.
That's fine. I'm good with what she said.
I think it was fair, and I'm happy it's over with.
We both work at the IRS, and, you know, we got to be professional, and so this isn't professional at all.
I don't talk to him, I don't see him, so it's not too big of a deal.
I hope that we can just move on.